Ghana City single, 5,500 Ghana City shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cities couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it.
8.7 billion Ghana cedis submitted for audit. A total of 45.4 billion Ghana cedis was deemed to be valid for payment. A total of 8.1 billion Ghana cedis was rejected for various reasons, including unsupported documentation, duplication, overstatement, already paid items, falsified stores receipt advice, and no work done. Then Ministry of Trade and Industry in 2024 submitted a request of 89.4 million Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Finance to be transferred to 5 commercial banks as government's contribution to interest payments under the One District, One Factory initiative.
It is this special audit that has got a lot of anti-graft bodies and also governance experts raising questions about this particular modus operandi of MMDs and service providers who engage in government contracts wanting to fleece the state. But this special audit into Ghana's unpaid debts has uncovered some 21.35 billion Ghana cedis. It has been described as suspicious, duplicated, and fictitious claims on state coffers, compelling government's pledge to prosecute all individuals involved in what it terms as a systemic plunder of the public purse. It is described as systemic because this is something that, from what we're going to be learning today, has been going on for quite a while. This was the details of a presentation of the Auditor General's report on arrears and payables as of the end of 2024 to Parliament. The Deputy Finance Minister, Thomas Nyakwampim, revealed that out of 68.7 billion Ghana cedis in claims submitted for verification, only 45.4 billion was deemed valid for payment. If you recall, when the Finance Minister was presenting the budget for this year, sometime last year in November, he put out a figure of a little over 10 billion. Now, this figure of some unsubstantiated claims on the state has reduced to 8.1 billion. We'll try to understand what led to the reduction and then also why this was presented to Parliament, because this is essentially an Auditor General's report, sort of, in which really could have been acted upon. But there's going to be a parliamentary probe into this. What occasioned this particular modus or this method of presentation by the Finance Minister? We'll try to understand all of this. That feeds into the bigger picture of the Operation Recover or Loot, oral. That's also going to be our next conversation, because a number of persons, not even in the NPP alone, but in the NDC, the ruling government, and some anti-corruption crusaders have been questioning the pace of the Operation Recover or Loot, the oral, and exactly what is happening to oral. Well, a number of cases that were captured in the oral report. We'll recall that and we'll find out what exactly has been happening. What's the state of affairs with the plethora of cases that were captured in there? And then also if really there's some locus in that particular position taking, that oral is just oral, a lot of talk and less of action. Or we should be expecting something more than what we have seen in the last 12 months from government on this matter of oral. Stay with us, we'll have a conversation. There's one lawyer who is not too happy about the Attorney General and the Office of Special Prosecutor accepting accused persons who submit themselves to want to now be prosecution witnesses and all charges dropped against them. what exactly is the issue with that? Well, we'll have a conversation this morning with this lawyer who is not too happy about this strategy that the Attorney General and the Special Prosecutor have adopted here on the key point. Earlier in the week, the Interior Minister, Mohammed Muttaka Mubarak, announced that only 5,000 applicants will be recruited into the various security services. This is the first phase of the ongoing recruitment exercise. He cited fiscal limitations as the major reason. We have about 500,000 applications and just about 5,000 slots. And questions have been raised as to why this was even the case, and the recommendation that some of the people who couldn't make it to the next stage after the aptitude test should have their application costs refunded to them, the 220 cedis that they pay for the application form. Well, we'll get into those issues this morning here on the key point. The bigger problem of unemployment. As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. We're live on 3FM 92.7, Voice of London Radio in the heart of the City of London, and the Voice of London Television as well. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. My guest seated already, Honorable Ndiapia Kubi, a private legal practitioner. Also, Martin Pebu, also a private legal practitioner. Phyllis Kwacho Fosu is Minister in charge of Government Communications, and Deborah Sebo Kwamankese, Member of Parliament. We would also have Professor Bafwa Jimendia, a governance expert, to be joining us. Daniel Yao Demelovo is a former Auditor General of the Republic of Ghana and Chair of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Yoko Board. And also Kofi Tonto, he is aide to the flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They would all be joining us. We'll have a conversation this morning here on the key point. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us.
Love, drama, surprises. The biggest dating reality show is back. Perfect Match Extra Season 4 is launching 14th March 2026 at Studio B. New singles, new connections, and even bigger drama. Be part of the experience live. Audience must be seated by 8 p.m. sharp. Catch the launch live on TV3 and Adisa Plus. One night, one house, a brand new journey to find the perfect match.
Perfect Match Extra is sponsored by...
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosomtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast, then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana cedis single, 5,500 Ghana cedis shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it.
Love, drama, surprises. The biggest dating reality show is back. Perfect Match Extra Season 4 is launching 14th March 2026 at Studio B. New singles, new connections, and even bigger drama. Be part of the experience live. Audience must be seated by 8 p.m. sharp. Catch the launch live on TV3 and Adisa Plus. One night, one house, a brand new journey to find the perfect match.
Perfect Match Extra is sponsored
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and zip lining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfonochi Source Site, Lake Bosumtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana Cedi single, 5,500 Ghana Cedi shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it.
Love, drama, surprises. The biggest dating reality show is back. Perfect Match Extra Season 4 is launching 14th March 2026 at Studio B. New singles, new connections, and even bigger drama. Be part of the experience live. Audience must be seated by 8 p.m. sharp. Catch the launch live on TV3 and Adisa Plus. One night, one house, a brand new journey to find the perfect match.
Perfect Match.
Welcome back. This is the poll tracker here on the Key Point on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. Also all across the world on 3news.com. We're live as well on the Voice of London Radio in the heart of the City of London and Voice of London Television as well. This special audit that was conducted by the Auditor General on government arrears submitted for audit. Because when this administration took over in 2025, a number of ministries, departments, and agencies and service providers all submitted invoices, bank transfers that were actually just needing some action to be taken, and monies would have been paid to this tune of almost over 18 billion Ghana cedis. And these interim payment certificates, that is one that you would have contractors normally submit when they start executing government projects. Invoices to the tune of over 50.5 billion Ghana cedis. The big deal here is the amounts involved in this and exactly what is going to be done? Because this is the total that was submitted. Almost 69 billion Ghana cedis in government arrears to contractors, to service providers, other persons who say, well, we have done some work for government. So government, pay us what you owe us. In execution of 1D1F, that's Agenda 111 project and so on. After this audit, this was a forensic audit, and that's another conversation we'll have, because what we're realizing is that a number of the forensic audits that have been employed has uncovered more rot than just a normal audit. We'll be finding out from the former Auditor General whether the forensic audit should not be the standard for auditing public accounts, so that we'll get to know a lot more of the rot in there than just a normal audit that sometimes will not uncover some of the things that we get to see. But this is what we're dealing with. Let's hear a Deputy Finance Minister on the floor of Parliament earlier this week, giving details of what has become the talking point. It will now segue into the bigger conversation on Operation Recover All. Take a look at the Deputy Finance Minister.
Out of the 68.7 billion Ghana cedis submitted for audit, a total of 45.4 billion Ghana cedis was deemed to be valid for payment. A total of 8.1 billion Ghana cedis was rejected for various reasons, including unsupported documentation, duplication, overstatement, already paid items, falsified stores receipt advice, and no work done. Then Ministry of Trade and Industry in 2024 submitted a request of 89.4 million Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Finance to be transferred to 5 commercial banks as government's contribution to interest payments under the One District, One Factory initiative. When auditors contacted these 5 banks to confirm the liability, every single one of them denied being owed any amount by government under the said arrangement. Without the audit intervention, a whopping 89.4 million Ghana cedis of hard-earned public money could have been disbursed to settle this non-existent liability. Payment of 10.5 million Ghana cedis was recorded as having been made into an account named the buffer account at a commercial bank. Upon verification, the bank confirmed that it had never received such payment. The account number cited did not exist within the bank's records and did not even conform to its account numbering format. The evidence from the audit pointed to a completely fictitious account. A contract between the Ministry of Defense and a company for vehicles intended for border surveillance and monitoring of the 2024 general election revealed that despite the issuance of stores receipt advice, which is an official document confirming that goods have been received, dated 12 October 2024, the vehicles were never delivered. Similarly, the Judicial Service appeared to be caught in a web of falsified stores receipt advice. While an SRA dated 25th October 2024 claimed the receipt of 7 Toyota saloon cars, as soon as the audit was initiated, the supplier wrote to the Judicial Service on 10th April 2025, indicating their inability to supply the said vehicles as scheduled. The Ministry of Finance will no longer serve as a rubber stamp for weak controls and falsified claims. Going forward, no payment will be made without full verification, no commitment will be entered into without budgetary allocation, and no officer, regardless of rank, will be shielded from accountability. This moment marks a decisive break from the past, a reset of public financial management, a declaration that discipline has returned to the center of fiscal and economic governance. A total of 45.4 billion Ghana cedis was deemed to be valid for payment. A total of 8.1 billion Ghana cedis was rejected for various reasons, including unsupported documentation, duplication, overstatement, already paid items, falsified stores receipt advice, and no work done. Then Ministry of Trade and Industry in 2024 submitted a request of 89.4 million Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Finance to be transferred to 5 commercial banks as government's contribution to interest payments under the One District, One Factory initiative. When auditors contacted these 5 banks to confirm the liability, every single one of them denied being owed any amount by government under the said arrangement. Without the audit intervention, a whopping 89.4 million Ghana cedis of hard-earned public money could have been disbursed to settle this non-existent liability. Payment of 10.5 million Ghana cedis was recorded as having been made into an account named the buffer account at a commercial bank. Upon verification, the bank confirmed that it had never received such payment. The account number cited did not exist within the bank's records and did not even conform to its account numbering format. The evidence from the audit pointed to a completely fictitious account. A contract between the Ministry of Defense and a company for vehicles intended for border surveillance and monitoring of the 2024 general election revealed that despite the issuance of stores receipt advice, which is an official document confirming that goods have been received, dated 12 October 2024, the vehicles were never delivered. Similarly, the Judicial Service appeared to be caught in a web of falsified stores receipt advice. While an SRA dated 25th October 2024 claimed the receipt of 7 Toyota saloon cars, as soon as the audit was initiated, the supplier wrote to the Judicial Service on 10th April 2025, indicating their inability to supply the said vehicles as scheduled. The Ministry of Finance will no longer serve as a rubber stamp for weak controls and falsified claims. Going forward, no payment will be made without full verification, no commitment will be entered into without budgetary allocation, and no officer, regardless of rank, will be shielded from accountability. This moment marks a decisive break from the past, a reset of public financial management, a declaration that discipline has returned to the center of fiscal and economic governance.
That's the Deputy Finance Minister giving us the details of what he made that emphatic statement about this rot ending right then when this declaration or the details was given. The troubling picture is that all of this involved some ministries, departments, and agencies, which we would get into. But if you recall, in November last year, when the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasila Tufosun, was giving details of the 2026 budget, he gave a hint of what we're talking about now. At that time, he gave or announced a figure of a little over 10 billion that had been identified as some claims on government or the state coffers that lacked documentation or were found to be fictitious. Now, what we're seeing after this forensic audit, that figure has reduced to a little over 8 billion. We would understand what exactly has led to this development as we are seeing now. Over 8 billion claims on state coffers, people who say they've done all sorts of works for the government or for the state, has been rejected. And after this forensic audit, a little over 13.2 billion in terms of documents that are being verified for payment to be initiated or rejected is also in the offing. And over 45.4 billion claims have been validated for payment. So bear that in mind. Out of the 68 billion, this is what we're paying that has been validated. Yes, that people said they did one work or the other for the state and are going to be paid for that matter. If you look at the details as we have it, if we just interrogate the data a bit and disaggregate the data, you understand what we are seeing now and why this is of a big concern. They say the devil is in the detail. This is what we're seeing. Rice was procured. 34,000 is what was paid for. 34,000 metric tons of rice was paid for. Only 24,000 metric tons was received. There was a shortage of 10,000 metric tons, which was actually paid for but was never delivered. Somebody obviously has to answer questions for this. Maize as well, 100,000 metric tons was contracted to be supplied, and just about 11,900 metric tons was delivered. There was over 88,000 that was not delivered. Somebody has to answer questions for this. That's not the only one. If you look at the ministries, departments, and agencies that brought claims to the finance ministry that, well, these persons, contractors, others, service providers have done one work or the other for the state. And so they are claiming that you should pay them. But then after this forensic audit, it was found out that there were no supporting documents. Ministry of Gender tops it with over 241 million Ghana cedis worth of claims without supporting documentation. And this was an audit as at the end period of the financial year 2024. Ministry of Roads, 26.3 million. Judicial Service, 18.2 million. Ministry of Special Initiative, that ministry doesn't exist anymore, 3.7 million. Ministry of Health, 2.4 million. And then the Attorney General's Department, a little over 780,000 Ghana cedis. The Ministry of Health, you heard the Deputy Finance Minister talk about some of the Agenda 111 projects and some persons who came that they should be paid for no work done. So in some cases, roads that claims had been put in, they went there and there was no road constructed, as a matter of fact. There was another source of what was uncovered to be the plunder on state coffers, the duplication or inflated claims. Local government ministry topped that one with a little over 408 million Ghana cedis. Ministry of Energy duplicated or inflated claims over 386.7, that's about 387 million Ghana cedis. National Service, bear this in mind because we're going to come to something that involves this institution again. The National Service, they brought duplicated or inflated claims of almost 335 million Ghana cedis. You know, this National Service scheme is a subject of Operation Recover or Loot. So the persons who presided over the operations of this National Service Secretariat or authority at the time, 334.5 million. Ministry of Roads, almost 126 million Ghana cedis of inflated or duplicated claims. And Ministry of Health, a little over 104 million Ghana cedis. And then NCC, that's another area as well to look at because this is an institution that they normally don't have money. They rely on the donor agencies to fund their operations. But then we're seeing something playing out there, duplicated, inflated claims as well involving this particular institution. Overstated claims by agencies, and this is what Phyllis Kwatufosu is going to be explaining to us exactly what all of this, especially with this overstated claims that we're talking about. These ministries as well and the departments involved in this overstated claims. Department of Urban Roads. And the total of all of this is a little over 161 billion, almost 161 million, 162 million Ghana cedis. Department of Urban Roads tops this one, followed by the Ministry of Transport, Feeder Roads, continues in that order. Agric Ministry, Ghana Highway Authority, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You see it in that order. Urban Roads alone, overstated claims submitted that were found out to be fictitious after this forensic audit, over 57 million. Agenda 111. These are monies that were paid to contractors to execute Agenda 111 projects by the actual administration. Say, give this money, go and do mobilization. They took the money, $7.9 million that was paid as advance mobilization to these contractors. About 35 of them took this money. Guess what? None of the contractors mobilized to go to site or even performed any form of work. So they took the money, they didn't go and do this mobilization, 35 of them. The fact that we have a specific number means we have the names of the companies. There's been demands that, look, in the spirit of accountability, publish the names of these contractors we're talking about. But then this is what the Deputy Finance Minister put out. This Agenda 111 project was also another area to look at. And then the 1D1F, we'll get to look at that one as well. These mobilization guarantees for these contractors have entirely expired. So what that means is this money has been drawn down. Total, almost $8 million from what we are seeing right now. A troubling picture, and some of the numbers you hear, jaw-dropping and quite concerning, to say the least. And this is why I bring in Kofi Tonto, who is a deputy, in fact, the aide to the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Good morning to you, Kofi. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Perfect.
I hope you are well.
I'm well, thank you.
Okay,
Hope you're well too.
Yeah.
Perfect. Also joining us is Honorable Andy Apiakubi. He is former member of parliament for the Asante Achim North constituency, and then also a private legal practitioner as well. Honorable, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Perfect. Your people were hoping to go on a demonstration about Galamsey yesterday in the constituency.
I had to fight off people who wanted to come to my constituency to do illegal mining. I fought for 8 years. I never succumbed to that. I didn't allow.
But now Galamsey is taking place in your constituency. You know that.
That is what I'm told. I will go there today and see whether that is. I will join the demonstration if I have to, because I also don't like that happening. But I congratulate the people who, organized to stop them. If they have been able to do that, I congratulate them. If they haven't, I think they need some of us to support, and I'm ready.
Martin Pebo is privately.
But again, the list of people who did not mobilize,
we'll come to that.
We are short of the list. It is important to publish it, so we see those who have not performed.
Okay. Sure.
It is too easy to categorize it as corruption so that it attracts some political explanation. This is clear stealing. And let us identify the elements of stealing different from the elements of corruption so that we know who has stolen money. And let us personalize it so that it does not cumulatively be directed at a regime. There are people, individuals, let's find them.
Categorize and personalize the stealing.
Yes.
Martin Pebo is private legal practitioner counsel. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Morning, Mr. Okansi. It's good to be here once again on Ghana's #1 show. All right. Yeah. Good. So
And we have a new hat today.
So you have it. Yeah. All right. So we'll do the rituals as usual. We want to thank Gamanche Kentucky Teku through the second, right, for standing tall when people choose not to speak against Akufo-Addo's evil and bad governance. They say for Osiadeyo Ajimabedu, Domahini, and then so for Akufo-Addo Santua. Yep. Oh, of course, not forgetting Togbe Afede, right? Yes, these are valiant statesmen, people who could speak up, not just watching their stomachs alone, just thinking that, oh, I just rather think about my wife and kids. That syndrome that's killing this our country. And that's what we'll be seeing in this Auditor General's report, okay, when we delve into it. Yeah, and then also want to remind our people, the prostate check, please, please. Do the prostate check once you are at least 40 years old, right? And then those who urinate outside. Yeah, somebody showed me even one for females.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, I did it. I'll send it to you so that
finally.
next week maybe you project it and we'll see. Yeah, we should do better because I mean it's very embarrassing. You're driving past. Yesterday I saw some around Tema Station, so I stopped and then cautioned them to stop it. All right. Of course, they didn't appear bothered, but I'm sure once they are human, sometimes somebody tells you something, you think it doesn't bother you, but it could take a year before you have a change of mind. So behavioral change, I'm ready for it. As long as I come here, we'll repeat it.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Truly appreciate you.
Good. And of course, the meaning of Ghana. We are in the Ghana man.
True.
We are the warrior king. So warrior king. So if you're a Ghanaian, you're a warrior, you are a king. So the question you should be asking is, do you epitomize those values of a warrior and a king? So that means speak up.
But
speak
not
up.
only warrior kings. Warrior queens are there. Yesterday I had the opportunity of reading the excerpts of the trial in respect of the ocean, the trial.
Okay.
The oil trial.
Okay.
The
That-
boundary
Ghana,
dispute between
Cote d'Ivoire.
Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire.
Okay.
And for the first time I realized that lawyer Marita Brew,
Appear upon.
Appear upon Brew, she was a dedicated frontliner in the case.
Okay.
And I want to congratulate her when I read about her, what she did, particularly in the regime of the MPP government. So that is very commendable.
Yeah.
And that is what I want to see.
Yeah. That's the president's lawyer.
People
Yeah.
showing presence for the state.
Yes.
And I want to congratulate her and my good morning to her this morning.
And senior on that, it was her, Gloria Kufu, and I think H. Prempe.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was a team of legal
Yes, but
people
yesterday I
who
was
came
reading.
together.
But I'm commending her
Her
particularly
specifically.
because of what she brought to it and from where she came. It was an agenda for a government of the time. But
course.
if she elected, and I'm told that she herself elected to be part of the team, legal
okay.
team.
Okay.
So that is commendable. And
So it started in her
I want to encourage
regime
people
before they went
who
to
has something to contribute from the other side to also contribute for the nation, because in the enterprise Ghana, we are all part.
People often want to do, but it's the political parties. This one will say you are not part of us, then they take you out. That's the thing. It's not that people don't want to contribute. Look at the private sector. There are a lot of
Yeah, but that
experts.
is a good example.
So
that
thank you.
going forward,
I think this is an important conversation. Trust me, we'll have this. We'll have it maybe on a bigger platform another time. But this fits into, you're talking about people wanting to contribute to the development of the country. This has nothing to do with contributing to the development with what we are seeing
This
now.
guy is taking the contributions away.
This is stealing from the public.
Yes, exactly.
This is the problem that we're faced with right now. Look at this one. Okay, this cannot be countenanced in any way, shape, or form. But you say you want us to personalize
yes,
the stealing.
the stealing.
what do-
First and foremost, let's identify the offense. It is stealing, not corruption. And then let's look at the elements of that charge, of that crime, and prosecute people according to the elements. And again, let us find the culprits. Kick out politics entirely. These are acts of persons or by either corporate persons or normal persons.
Government officials.
Government officials. They are, if they are found to be wrong, they are found to have done the illegal acts. Let us see them as people facing the law, and let the law take its course. At the end of the day, when they are convicted, let us see them punished, and then let's try to reform our system. But that brings me into these areas. When you put people before a trial, chances are that people who would have committed crimes would want to elect to be prosecution witnesses and run away from the crimes. And that is
Get to that.
dangerous.
Don't go ahead of me on that one.
Okay.
You see, but if you're talking about this being limited to just identifying the people or the companies and prosecuting them, some would also argue that it happened within a particular period as well. You would have to be raising questions as to what may have aided some of these acts of mobilization, advanced mobilization being paid to certain people, contractors, and they're not even going to do what they are paid.
So what I'm saying is that find those people,
money for.
Find those people and prosecute them. Why did you take the money? Why did you not do what was expected of you? And by all means, answer the questions yourself. Take advantage of the legal system. You are entitled to legal counsel and all that. Bring your lawyer, come to court, and then let's prosecute you. And let it be your action, not the action predicated on any other person. And let not politics come in at all. And when we are able to retrieve our monies and engage, we can also bring civil action. Under Article 41 of the Constitution, once the Attorney General Auditor General identifies wrongdoing, malfeasance here and there, we can also come to civil court. And I want to encourage as many lawyers as possible to also pick some of these cases and come to civil court just to retrieve the amount lost to the state and let the criminal prosecution also continue for you to be punished for your criminal mind. There are two things. You have a criminal mind, you did that. You have stolen our money, we want it back. So let these two concurrent actions continue. And then we can retrieve as much as possible. And people can be punished for wrongdoing at the same time. Simultaneously, we can do that. So that's my prescription.
But you don't also see internal collusion in this instance.
Well, prosecution
because
will
some of these things cannot be done without some level of collaboration with persons.
When you are prosecuting
within these ministries,
you are likely to find the people who would have abetted the crime. And they also accused persons, bring them in and let them come and also face the law. What I want us not to do is to say that it happened when Apiakubi was chairman of so and so committee and therefore he influenced. No, Apiakubi knew the money was there, didn't take. Then you, Kwesi Mensah, you saw also the money was there and you took. So Kwesi Mensah, come and face the charges. And don't relate it to Apiakubi in any way. And let Kwesi Mensah come and defend himself. If we do that, then, and I'd like to also congratulate Dr. Ayini. In the course of his investigations, he set some standard. At the time, people didn't agree with him that at least to be able to recover part of the loss to the state, let people pay 60% or so. I agreed with him because it is not.
Agreed with that?
Yes, because at least that was bringing some money back into the government chest. But sometimes you prosecute somebody, and at the end of the prosecution, he is convicted, you send him to jail, and we still have to take care of him. So he continues to enjoy at the expense of the state. So if they bring back 60%, it's a good start, but I should not continue. Let us also set a threshold in terms of time and say between now and this time, if you have taken public funds, bring the 60% and let us abort the prosecution. But beyond that, the standard is that if you knowing that this is the regime change and this is what we expect, you continue to do the wrong things, then we will prosecute you and want to retrieve 100%. Once we have given a holiday, let the holiday also have limits, and let it also be omnibus for everybody. So everybody who has taken government money between now and say end of June, bring 60% and go and negotiate. I think that would be a good start. Beyond June ending, whoever has state money, bring 100%.
If there is a chance to recover all 100%, why then do you want us to start from 60%?
No, I'm talking about when the Attorney General started.
Yes.
In fact, he started with a standard. And I'm suggesting that if the standard has been taken, and at the time that he started, I think we critically needed money into government chest. So it was good that he tried to retrieve some of the monies. But it cannot continue into the future. So I'm saying that let this holiday be
an amnesty period.
Have an end. So that everybody, even if they haven't called you, but you know that you are likely to be called.
Yeah.
You know that you have taken government money. You yourself, volunteer and come to the Attorney General and say, yes, this money is with me. I'm prepared to come under this cover, and I'm paying this 60%. Because I know there's a deadline. Beyond the deadline, and let us publish it. So beyond the deadline, if you are caught of having government money, then the threshold is 100%, and then you have to come and pay. Indeed, I supported him at the time when people didn't understand him, but it must end at some point in time.
Yeah.
And it also must be omnibus for everybody, whoever has government
definitely.
money.
He said it.
Yes.
It's everybody.
Come and negotiate and pay that amount, the rate, and then we'll move on. I congratulate him this morning.
I say, but look, people, in this same audit, what we're told is that some 89.4 million was said to have been paid to 5 banks, classified as 1D, 1F interest payment.
Yeah.
But all these 5 banks, when they were contacted, said, look, we don't have any records of such amounts being paid to them. Quite concerning, to say the least, is it not?
Yes, but I'm not surprised.
Why?
Not surprised because that's been our stock in trade. You know, this thing didn't start today. I'm sure you have this in Domlevo on. You hear Auditor General, previous Auditor General say it. And that's how come I'm mad that Johnson Ekwuamwesi is still in office.
Why?
I mean, come on, that shows that they were doing a poor job. You see, we've always been saying that, look, Ekwuamwesi is not up to this job.
He's not. General?
Or the Auditor General.
Who conducted this audit?
No, they added the private sector people.
Yeah,
These things, look.
And,
yes. They added private sector people because he sat in there, he didn't see or colluded. That's what we say.
How do you even make that conclusion?
Very good. You see the part that is the bank transfer advice. Bank transfer advice, yes. That one means that that's at the last stage with the governor for them to be paid. And that would have passed through the Auditor General's office. This one. This one, yes.
Almost 18.3 billion?
Yes. The controller people. After controller, etc., goes to the, what do you call it, the Bank of Ghana, etc. So all this while, what were they doing? All this while.
So you'll be questioning elements within the Auditor General's department,
yeah.
And not just the person who is leading that.
Good.
Has he been the one to...
Good. So now let's come. So for it to have gone through the whole value chain, you know this one, let's understand the value chain. You know this 18, it goes through many steps, even sometimes to the regional and district levels. It comes all the way, validation, way to the top, controller, Bank of Ghana. Okay, the ministries there, the technical people, they all do. They assess it, pass, go on, right? And then to BOG. And we're saying that these things that you are talking about, didn't they happen in the previous years? During the Auditor General audit, and then also, of course, we will lay some of the blame at the internal audit agency. You know, they are inside the institutions, right? They too, they are supposed... Oh, there's one of them that the internal auditor, passed? The stores receipt. Do you have the slide for it? As part of the report, stores receipts advice. Yes, the internal auditor passed. So you see, it's a whole organized crime, a whole criminal enterprise. And I'm saying that so to the top. And Auditor General, the last stop, when you audit, okay, and you're not able to see, what are you doing there? So it's not the only one, but I'm just saying that, that's the last stop. External audit, you go and do, you don't see. And then a new government comes and has to do what? A special audit. You see, has to do a special audit. And I'm saying that some of these things, they recycle things. You see, about 4 billion of it, let's go through, about 4 billion of it is recycled. Payments that have already been made in years past. But because now there is opportunity, because there's a new government. So that's what I'm saying, that so throughout, I'm not laying the blame at only the Auditor General, the internal auditors, the technocrats at the ministries, right, at the regional level, the district level, all of this. That's how come I joined what Apia Kubi is mentioned, that we should have names. So let's take each specific one. Like, I'm even most interested in the 4 point, do you have that slide? If you can show 4-point-something billion in recycled claims. We had already paid.
They come back for all.
Yes, something that we had already paid and finished.
Stealing.
Then, yes, then they represented 4-point-something billion, that one we had already paid. Out of the, 8.1 billion was rejected. I'm taking the bigger figures. 8.1 billion, when you check the report, 8.1 billion was rejected. Out of that 8.1 billion that was rejected, 4.1 billion are recycled claims. So claims that have already been paid, done, dusted. And these went back to the various districts, to the regional ministries, passed on to Accra, the various ministries, and then to Controller and Accountant General, and then to Bank of Ghana. So that's what I'm saying. So let's find all the people who worked on this, all the technocrats, the consultants, etc., to the end, and all of this, name them. That Esimesi, you were in charge, and you see the ministries. When we just say Ministry of Gender, what have we said? Who was in charge at the time? Who was in charge at the time? Yeah. You see, so when it comes to Minister of Agri, Brian Champon, he wants to be president. Was he involved in one of them? Yes, Akuto say, yes, Free, the one who ran for president. So it was between him, after him, then Brian Champon came. So when you see Ministry of what? Agri, then quickly your mind goes to two presidential contenders of the what? MPP. When it comes to Ministry of Health, then you say, hey, Kweku Ajima Menu. Kweku from the assembly.
You see, the forensic audit, the good thing about it is that it will identify the real culprits.
Yes.
It is easy to point to political heads.
Yeah.
But the real culprits may be public servants within the ministries.
But the ministers are also
the forensic audit will identify them. Yeah. Trust me, some of the times, the ministers may not be involved necessarily.
Oh,
because I've been to the ministry before.
Responsibility.
Yes, yes, but he will come and explain the situation, and then you will find the culprits. They are there.
Yeah, so he's also part to have allowed it to go. Then what's if everybody say, "Oh, I was just MD." MD means that minister means that put in place proper systems. So if your systems are porous and your subordinates are recycling claims, so I'm interested in the 4.1 billion. That one, it kicked. I was like, the various figures.
It's actually 4.4 billion. The 4.4 payments resubmitted.
Very good.
Claims paid twice.
Yes, because you see the figures you presented small, they look small. This is the aggregate figure. We had already paid 4.4 billion. And these ones were resubmitted. So they were going to take this free, stealing. And you said the minister, so you said because you are MD, if the systems are poor, it's not my fault. It's the finance manager.
I didn't say that. MD. I'm saying that identify the people who are.
Yes, so we are
for nothing at all. If the MD compromise a position, he could be also cited for
even without compromise, you are in charge of the system. Ultimate responsibility. So if your system is poor and you are superintending over it, you will also come down with them. Come down, because Ghana will like this. That's why I said Auditor General must go, head of the internal audit agencies go. Then those ones we quickly know them. The ones we know. Then after
for all you know, even the institutional head may have reported public servants.
Please hold on.
Where are they? We don't have evidence of that. So we are talking about what we have evidence of. Then you come, the various chief directors. Yes, the payments go through there. Okay, a lot of them, I think they've been replaced because they are under the MPP regime, right? True. But beneath them, the technocrats who passed this, right? The consultants. So if you were a consultant to a project involved in this 4.4 billion, they brought claims that had already been paid, and a consultant okayed it. All those consultants, we will blacklist them because they are part. These consultants are they are part. It's a criminal enterprise with all manner of actors and experts. It's not just a contractor doesn't get up and present anything. You remember this case that I presented? We went to Tamale to do this Northern Development Authority case. Yeah. Yes, that's part of it. That's part of it. You see a claim for 5 cedis, then to be hijacked to several millions of cedis, right? And now you see that. So it took extra effort. I saw it and then presented to the OSP and then pushed. You see, then they went to court and now you see the people are before court. So that's why I said earlier that as Ghanaians, they say the meaning of our name, Ghanaians, you are a warrior, you are a king. Is that how we are behaving? We are all seeking, if you look, we are all seeking to join the loot. in actual fact, it's because the thieves are more than the good people. That's why the system is like this. Let's speak truthfully. When you try to do it straight and narrow, no, when they are sharing money, they won't call you. Because they say, oh, this guy there, he'll come and small. And don't call him. So they will gather. The thieves are more than the good people. So that's why the system is this fact. I mean, messed up like that.
No, even in support, the thieves go unpunished.
Yes, that's impunity. So we are saying that when Domlevo, in 2017, Domlevo did such an audit and disallowed 5.4 billion. I'm just reading one of his interviews here. And he said nothing happened to those people. So there is impunity. When NDC, we booted out NDC in 2016. MPP came in 2017. Domlevo did such an audit and discovered 5.4 billion. And I like the analysis Tia Kabiru did, MP. Is it Walwale? Yeah, Dr. Tia Kabiru. He said, look, the 5.4 billion that was disallowed in 2017-2018 was out of 13 billion. So by his mathematics, that was about 50% of the claims. Yes, you see Tia Kabiru on the floor of Parliament. That 13 billion was presented. In this case, 68 point something billion was presented, right? And we rejected, about 8.1. So he says that this one is 11%. That's how he did it. But when it comes to the 2017 one, 13 point something billion was submitted and 5.4 was disallowed by Domlevo, Auditor General at the time. So he said that's about 50%, right? Even if it's not 50, at least 40. So it tells you that this skill, this thing by Kufito to your people, no, it's bad. So the bad.
Your people meaning who?
Sorry, it was the MPP that was in charge.
You see, but you are spoiling the case yourself.
Yes.
You just,
once you start that,
you just did a great exercise.
Yes, by saying the percentage.
No, people, wait. You just did a great exercise by narrating how these schemes are orchestrated.
Yeah.
Essentially, these are schemes formed by a syndicate. Because these things don't just happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are syndicates. Many have stayed for several years.
Yes.
So when new people come, they rope you in. It's either you come in or you go out.
You couldn't break the syndicate.
No, but the point is...
that's why we brought you in.
The point is, various political parties have struggled to break the syndicate.
Yes.
Largely because of even our cultural sentiment, the way our society is structured. It makes it very difficult. So when we are discussing these issues and you politicize it, as Honorable Andy has sort of cautioned against, we will come back to square one. Because guess what? Guess what? People, you'll be surprised that in 4 years' time, all the ills you are illustrating will repeat themselves.
But I even mentioned the 2016
exactly,
one.
Exactly. So my point is this.
Also suffering
Alfred, first of all.
Okay.
First
Hold
of
on
all.
the point.
Okay.
People, and conclude.
Okay.
You say we should put faces to
yes,
this
yes,
and prosecute them.
Absolutely. Even if not prosecute, recover. Anyway, no, so this one, sorry, these ones were stopped. So let's put out the names and then let's see exactly how the schemes were done. So those that can be prosecuted will prosecute for attempt. Because when you present, that's an attempt. The fact that it's not been paid doesn't mean that it's not.
It's always a criminal mind.
Yes, so some will be conspiracy, some will be attempt, etc. So let's see the specifics of each case. But the key thing we should not forget, this, especially the category of the 4.4 billion, as for them, no. We should start from that place.
This one.
Yeah, we should start from that place. Because it's already been paid. And then you take the same documents and go and resubmit.
Okay, thank you.
But people, that one.
This is the 4.4 billion we're talking about. The duplicate payments that's recycled, resubmitted for that matter. It's something that if you look at what happened in 2017 as well, this component was there.
Yes.
As a matter of fact.
Yes. So that one is why we should all know that there is a syndicate. Because payments go through processes. And they have rigorous processes. Trust me. You have to submit a memo. You have to attach all the relevant documents. And they are signed code
some of them
and
must be
references.
certified.
Exactly. So on what basis was a payment repaid or paid twice? It must be deliberate.
Or resubmitted twice.
It's not been paid yet. They've resubmitted.
So that would be
a wrong.
Maybe that's an error.
So these ones were about to be paid. Then Atuforsen said, no, let's do a special audit.
Okay, then you may want to change because here...
presented twice.
Presented twice, okay.
Before they will be presented, it will have been certified by professionals.
Exactly, they're consultants.
So consultants.
Those consultants, they are part of the scheme.
First of all, on this subject, first of all, I'm strongly against any form of corruption. Because, I mean, if you look at how far we've come as a nation...
But this is not corruption, this is stealing.
Okay, well...
Yeah, add it. It's add corruption and stealing, everything.
You want it to be very blatant and obvious. I get it. But ultimately, all of them culminate into corruption. If we can reduce corruption by even 30%, I think we'll see a great degree of improvement in our lives, being it healthcare, being it road, being it whatever. Yesterday I went to Dodowa, and you know they are reconstructing the Dodowa to Adenta stretch.
Yes.
And you could see that the road has been paved before. But when you see the layer of bitumen on the surface, and you look at the bitumen thickness against the surface itself, you realize it's a clear case of corruption. A clear case, because you see, it's just asphalt laying on sand. Literally. Asphalt laying on sand. The red sand. So it tells you that poor pre-work went into the exercise. But why would poor pre-work go into the exercise? Because monies were stolen. Monies were shared. The contract perhaps was X amount. Before the contractor goes to site, a percentage has been shared between a group of people. But, so I'm strongly against any form of corruption, and I'm all for sunlight on these cases. I have no issues. But first of all, Alfred, is this the Auditor General's report, or this is the Deputy Finance statement on the floor of Parliament? What you are referencing?
He read reflecting the report of the Auditor General.
Exactly.
He was quite clear in his words.
No problem. We have statutory Auditor General reports, which they do every year. And then, of course, a ministry may request the Auditor General to do an ad hoc or supplementary report for them. This is one of them, an ad hoc report requested by the Honorable Finance Minister that we want to look into arrears payments and see the validity of them.
True.
No problem. Fantastic exercise. But the report has been done. As of Thursday, I saw a video of the speaker, the second deputy speaker, or I think the first deputy speaker rather, admitting in Parliament that as of the time the minister was reading the statement, they have not seen a copy of the actual Auditor General's report. They've not seen it. It's not been submitted to Parliament. So Atuforsen received the report, or we are supposed to believe that Atuforsen has received the report. Then Atuforsen takes the report and does a statement out of the report. Which statement we are currently discussing. So the question is, why can't the ministry and the Auditor General submit the report for all of us to interrogate?
But this is why this is going to be a subject of a probe in Parliament. Right, from what
no. It can't be a statement.
You have to file the report. You have to file the report first.
You have to file the report
in Parliament.
So is that to say that after this presentation by the Finance Minister, if there's going to be some sort of a probe by Parliament, they will not do it on the basis of this.
You see, here's the danger. Here's the danger Honorable Andy was cautioning against. What the Deputy Finance Minister did on behalf of his boss was to politicize the whole exercise even before we get the opportunity to interrogate the document.
That's how you see it?
Of course, but what else? Because you take a document, why don't you submit it for people to see it, Kofi Tonto to see it, the minority to see it, and then we all interrogate the report. You take the report and put it in your pocket, and then you do a statement on the report. So we are supposed to believe your interpretation of the report, your analysis of the report. How are we supposed to know if your interpretation and your analysis are even accurate? How are we supposed to? So I think the first thing we need to do, Alfred, is to ask, I don't know if it is the Auditor General, but in this case, I think it's the Finance Ministry, because they requested it. This is not a statutory Auditor General's report. They have to first and foremost submit it to Parliament, so the minority, the majority, Ghanaians can have the privilege of seeing what the report is. Because, you see, you can definitely and easily put a narration to a report to achieve a certain aim. To achieve a certain aim. We are discussing a report and a statement, but we don't know the source. I'm supposed to believe Ampem.
Indeed, let me share some experience with you.
Okay.
From the minister, before he came to the floor to advocate on it, he ought to have filed the report for discussion on the day. So it should have appeared on the other paper that this would be. But before it appears, copies would have been filed.
Yeah.
And then the minority, majority, they would have had copies. At least the leadership would have had copies. So I am not too sure
whether
in charge
of government
communications,
Felix Kwachofosu, is joining us in a bit.
That's okay.
So
That's okay. I don't have a problem.
He's a member of Parliament.
But he's a member of Parliament,
well.
and I said,
So, yes.
I quoted a source that I watched Ben, what's the name?
Ben.
And he admitted on video, and it was Thursday, March 12th, because when you watch the video, they put the date on it. Yeah. And as of that time, he said nothing has been submitted to Parliament. So if Felix comes here and Felix has a document to read off, then the point is, so the information minister or government spokesperson has a document, but Parliament doesn't. So for me, that is troubling. Look, we have to be very careful what we table on major platforms for discussion. We have to be extremely careful. Otherwise, people can achieve political aims. By the time the true report comes back, and we see some discrepancies, the errors would have already gone in the air. And it's very difficult to correct them.
Are you doubting what the
I am not doubting anything. I am only advocating for the right thing to be done. Because I will not sit here for Ampim and his boss, who are politicians, who have made it clear time and again that they want to achieve a certain aim and call the MPP corrupt. They have made it clear. They are intense. Their mens rea is known that at any and every material point, they want to tarnish the image of the MPP. Why should I believe that such a person will come and all of a sudden everything they say is sacrosanct? Let's see the original document. Let's see the source document. If there are corruption and corrupt activities, we will interrogate it and condemn it. That said, I want to repeat that if these instances are true, then we should all condemn it in the utmost terms possible. Look, for example, this instance.
You're talking about this.
Agenda
111.
Agenda 111.
That $7.9 million
advance mobilization
was paid as advance mobilization.
Identify the
35
culprits.
contractors. None of them showed up even to go and do any.
Identify the culprits.
So, Alfred, this is a clear example of colluding, if it is true. So what it means is that the ministry will advertise that we are going to build Agenda 111. People will tender in their submissions to be considered. Now they go through all the processes, the PPA processes and value for audit, everything. And a contract is assigned to a contractor or a company. And that company is given 7.9 million to go on site. The first question is, what is the validation process, or what are the processes the ministry and the agency responsible going through to make sure if I'm giving 7 million to Kofi Tonto will actually go and do what I've asked him to do?
Yeah, but you could well be on point when you have interrogated all that. Kofi Tonto has qualified.
Yeah.
I've given him the money. The cross comes back to Kofi Tonto. Why did you take the money and didn't do the job?
No problem.
You see,
and that's because corruption takes multiple people.
No, I'm saying
achieve.
sometimes corruption and stealing.
Okay, so
Public officers could be cited for corruption, having colluded. In the event that they did not collude and you have taken the money and taken it away, that is stealing. So it is corruption for the public officers, stealing for you who have taken what is not duly yours.
No problem. I don't have any issues with that. But the point I am making is that all of these things culminate into best practices, methodologies, and systems and structures we have in place. Because if we don't have all these systems and structures in place, because you see, the government has an onus. That onus is to prevent the stealing in the first place. So you don't allow somebody to come and steal and say that somebody has stolen from me. No. The government has a responsibility to prevent the stealing, and that's why you have to have systems. So my question is, Agenda 111, at least from what we know, over 100 of them have started. So the 35, which are the 35 that they never went to site at all? We need to know which 35 Agenda 111 projects they are. Which constituencies, which companies. Because at least from what we know, majority of them have started. So we need to know which constituencies, which companies, so at least we can also validate the claim. Because in one breath, the previous government provided evidence that all these projects have started. And now we are being told that 35 of them never started at all, not a break. So we need more details. We need more information to be able to interrogate further.
Let's know them.
Let's know them.
So you're talking about naming these contractors.
Yes.
We need to know the constituency. Alfred, we need to know because it was how many? 110 plus, I think, 6 district hospitals and psychiatric hospitals. So we need to know the exact site that they were supposed to go to.
And didn't go.
Then we need to know who they are, the companies, right? So once we have that information, it will help all of us to establish the validity of this claim. So if you say that company A was supposed to go to Sipe Bukrum, and I go to Sipe Bukrum, I go to the site, there is nothing there, then indeed, this claim is true.
But if he has the list also, he can publish it.
He can publish it. That's okay. You know. So that's what I would say for
all right. Well, on this particular point that you're making, let me just welcome.
You brought the report.
No, that's not the report.
Which report? The Auditor General report.
Professor
We're just complaining that we've not seen it.
Okay.
And we're also saying that you should publish a list.
Please. Professor Bafo Ajimendia has also joined us. He's a governance expert, former senior governance advisor to the United Nations. Prof.
Thank you. I'm no expert. I'm just a student of governance.
I know. Also joining us is the Member of Parliament for the Ebrasebo Kwamankese constituency. He's the Minister in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachofosu. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining
Alfred,
us.
I heard him crying last week that he got stuck in his constituency and had to send, the wife had to send SOS to him to come back.
I
just laughed. I said, yes, it's good for you to also experience it.
Absolutely.
Interestingly, for the first time, Felix and Kabiru were in agreement.
Members of Parliament welfare.
But in the House of Parliament, that is what you always forget, that you get stuck sometimes.
Perfect. Quite a number of things require. Council.
No, I mean the popular part that when it comes to emoluments, the parliamentarians are together. That was very, very united.
There are many misconceptions about our job.
Yes, maybe you also
the reason why
until you got in.
The reason why it was necessary to disclose those things is to, for want of a better expression, push back on a certain perception that there's this pot of resources that we parliamentarians dip our hands into and benefit from. So I was just making the point that he knows it better than I, because he was there for far longer than I was.
I was only just laughing at him.
Absolutely. Look, maybe another time
we will talk about, because
but parliamentarians, in a nutshell, spend far more than they ever earn.
Because when you
And the whole political value chain is the worst position.
It's the worst
you have
place
to
be.
table it for
Yes,
another
yes, another time we can discuss
because
it.
then,
They-
the question
they-
is,
people
why
don't
then
know.
do you spend so much money to get into parliament?
Rafa, the
When
simple
you know-
answer- the
when you
simple
know
answer
you
is
are not
that-
going to earn so
Two
much,
things. The simple
and then you are going
answer
to be
is
poor.
that somebody must do the job. That's the first
Yes.
thing. The second point is that if that job is not done, the sort of suffering and pain that our people will feel will be unprecedented, because government, despite its best efforts, is not able to reach every part of this country. And so it is the parliamentarians who stand in the gap that exists between government and the people. You understand me? And there are also many communities who, by virtue of either remoteness or their location, will not get any share of the national cake if they don't have a representative who has the capacity to draw attention to their plight.
And to lobby for
exactly,
it.
that's the point.
But you spend 10 million Ghana cedis
Again, that is also
to go and do
another
a sacrificial job.
You see, no, that is also that is also another leg of the argument. You see, I regret to have to be this blunt, but it is actually demand driven. What I mean is that it is not as though MPs or aspirants have money that they want to share around. It is that the people whom you seek to represent make those demands.
Okay.
So maybe we can find time and discuss
I
those
agree with
matters.
you. We
Yes.
will get into it. It's a very
Yes.
important
Yes.
governance conversation we must have. In your absence, a number of questions were directed. I know you were doing following the conversation, but why did the deputy finance minister or the finance minister for that ministry, for that matter, choose this mode of presentation, as in to have the finance minister or the deputy finance minister present a statement on the audit, this forensic audit report, without members of parliament having a copy of it?
First of all, it's not true that parliamentarians don't have a copy of it. The way it works is that the report is laid, and my honorable colleague here knows. The report is laid before parliament. In other words, it's formally presented to parliament, and then the speaker refers it to the appropriate committee. Indeed, both the minority leader and majority leader have copies of it. It's a very voluminous report. There was no way the deputy finance minister was going to be able to read the entirety of the report. In fact, even the budget statement, when the finance minister comes to parliament, he asks parliament to adopt the full report or the full statement for the records, whilst he reads excerpts because of the sheer length and volume. So it's not practical to read it. So let me place it on record that the report was laid before parliament on Tuesday. Indeed, the minority leader, in his contribution to the statement, quoted copiously from the report that was before him. MPs will have it in their pigeonholes. So before long, it will be in their offices because the IRAs will take it and go and give it to them. So that is how reports in the House have been distributed. There's never a situation where an Auditor General's report or any report is coming and all MPs are giving copies at the same time before it is read. Number two, both in the 2025 and 2026 budget statements, the finance minister mentioned this matter, that there were issues of arrears that have come to his attention, that he has commissioned a forensic audit into it, and that once it is done, he will report on it to parliament.
Yeah.
So it was necessary for him to report. So what the deputy finance minister did on behalf of his minister was to report as he had promised in the budget statement. Also, it is important to highlight the problem so that we begin to find solutions to it. Because if you look into various Auditor General's reports since 1992, indeed, in my previous guys as a member of the CJ, one of the things we used to do was to routinely examine Auditor General reports and flag issues that are reported in thereof. It was necessary to bring to the attention of members of the House, rather than just laying the reports and getting a committee to go and work on it. And also draw the country's attention to instances where the public purse is abused and loopholes are exploited to the detriment of all of us. We are talking billions of Ghana cedis, at least 8 billion Ghana cedis that have been rejected.
When the finance minister first mentioned this in the budget, the figure was over 10 billion.
Yes, because
what led
so
to
what
this
happened in
reduction?
the course of the audit, appropriate responses were provided for some of the queries. Indeed, what the Auditor General does in the final report is that if a report or a claim or a query has been adequately answered, he will not flag it. So he will send management letters to the entities concerned, and the management will then respond.
Right.
He will weigh the responses against the findings, and if he finds that a particular claim has been satisfactorily answered, he will not flag it. There's pending verification for 13 billion. He has looked at all of them, but he says that he's not satisfied with the explanations yet. And so if those concerned have additional explanations to offer, they are free to bring it. He will weigh it against his findings and then make a determination as to whether or not the matter should be flagged for further action, or that that claim should be shut down. In other words, do not appear in this report. Mind you, the Auditor General also, because of the volume of work involved, it is not everything that he encounters that he reports on. He chooses and picks those ones he thinks are significant. And then, more importantly, in every audit, they recommend action that needs to be taken to address or resolve the issues that have been found. So that is precisely what this audit is about.
I see. So what happens after this? This
Those against whom the findings have been made will be notified, and they will be requested to provide further. Because in this category, he said that one of the reasons that he has not verified this is that there's insufficient documentation. Now, somebody claims he has a contract, but there's not sufficient documentation to address a claim for payment. In other instances, there are no contracts actually. Somebody says he is owed, but there's no contract that binds the government of Ghana to pay the person anything. So unless and until you produce the contract, which forms a basis for the contractual arrangement between you and government, the Auditor General is not able to approve or validate the request for payment. So that is what it is. The category where the validated the claims were validated, clearly it was obvious that the people who had the case, they were able to prove. And then some of the findings too were mind-boggling. As I walked in, I heard colleagues speak about the 35 contractors who were given mobilization.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. The Auditor General has issued notices of surcharge against those people. So there are people who exist. They've received the appropriate legal.
Publish the names of these.
It is contained in the report. It's contained in the report.
35
in fact, even before the finance minister came to the House, the Auditor General himself had announced it in January of this year that he had issued the notices of surcharge. So it is a legal matter. If they don't comply,
public the list.
No, he didn't publish it. He announced it. But it is in the report. It's clear. It's before Parliament.
The list is there?
Yes, the list is in the audit report. When the Public Accounts Committee sits on it, if they will call, they are most likely to call the contractors involved and publicly interrogate them.
Okay, hold on.
What I'm saying is that since it's public document, you can publish it now.
In fact, I suspect that it should be on the Auditor General's website.
It's not.
They will upload it.
Usually in the past they do before they even go to Parliament. But this time,
let us be clear. Once a document goes to Parliament, it is a public document. It's a public document.
And once you have a copy,
exactly.
You can
It's not but I expect the Auditor General to publish it.
Yeah, this time they should take notice. They usually publish it on the website before Parliament.
The NPP claimed that and all the Agenda 111 projects were at various stages of completion. That's one question that you had. So if it was the case that 35 contractors took money for mobilization and they never showed up, then you have to show evidence because their position was
I've answered that. They said, what do you call it?
Fellas, since you have it right in front of you.
Oh, no. First of all, there are legal issues involved. You understand me? The Auditor General has issued notices to these contractors and told them that you came for money to go and begin a project, but our research shows that you didn't show up. So return the money. That is the first point. To say that the projects were at various stages of completion, so it's not true. It's completely misplaced. Various stages of completion could mean anything. It could mean that the land has just been acquired. It's a stage. You understand me? Up until the time that the facility is commissioned for use. That is also another stage. So it is not an answer to this. This is documented and certified and contained in an official report presented to Parliament to look into. So there's no dispute about it.
What I'm suggesting to you now is that since it is public document already submitted to Parliament, there is nothing illegal about you further publishing it.
But I'm saying that one, the Auditor General will do it. It is his job. He will do it. It's not anything that is hidden. When you go to his website now,
we are contesting the availability.
First of all, no. I don't have the 2 copies here. It's a voluminous report. It's about 1,000 pages. I have told you. In fact, volume 1, volume 2. Yes. I have seen it.
But the executive summary, at least you will have that list.
Yes. But I'm saying that it is not a matter that we need to split hairs on. That's the report should be made public. It's something that is accepted. The appropriate authority, which is the Auditor General, will do that because he has published several reports in the past. He has also given the reports to the people's representatives.
So
indeed, Parliament has the mandate to look into the Auditor General's report. In fact, the Auditor General himself is audited by auditors appointed by Parliament. Yes. So Parliament has jurisdiction over the Auditor General's work. So there's no dispute about the availability of the report and its content. When the Public Accounts Committee starts, they will say it publicly. It will be shown live. So everybody will see everybody who is called before them to answer questions in relation to this particular matter. First of all, this is not the only time that a contractor has received mobilization and hasn't showed up. There's a case of a contractor who got a $300 million road contract somewhere around Wali Wali. I think it's Wali Wali to Sabine. He was paid $29 million. And in mobilization, and he hasn't showed up.
But that
$29 million.
Yes,
and
an Indian contractor.
No, Kabiru is contesting it. He says that why haven't you people put the person before court? So he's contesting it. I saw him on the floor of Parliament.
A demand has been made for the contractor to come back to site after a certain period. If he doesn't show up, action will be taken. Indeed, the problem actually is that the contract that was given him said that if he is not given some additional funds, he won't show up. You understand? So those who did that contracting clearly did place us as a country at a disadvantage, and therefore ought to be, and they will be held to
The entire 29 million has been drawn down.
Yes, in fact, there's another instance where an agreement was signed with an Israeli company to supply us with 19 armored personnel carriers, what we call armored cars for the military. And I think that about $40 million was paid.
And he hasn't performed.
He hasn't performed. And the contract is that if they don't pay the additional $40 million, they are not going to supply. So we are compelled as a state to add it.
That is obviously an unconscionable contract.
Absolutely. So in fact, it was $40 million has been paid. But the contract is that if we don't pay it's $80 million in all. If we don't pay the additional $40 million, they will not refund. They will not refund the $40 million that was initially paid to them as an advance. So the other problem is that those who do the contracting on behalf of the state also have serious questions to answer for putting us in such a situation. Because I would imagine that if for any reason I sign a contract with you and you've not delivered the items and I've paid you an advance or mobilization, whatever it is called, if for any reason
you've not been started,
you've not been started. If for any reason I fall into difficult times and I'm not able to pay the remainder, you don't keep my money. You return my money to me. When you've not even, it is a different matter if you've delivered and I've paid you half. Then you can hold me to pay you the rest. But so clearly, those who sign these contracts and negotiate on our behalf,
are they contracts that are not voidable? I am saying that.
Yeah, but if you sign a contract and say that you must pay all before delivery, if you pay half, I'm not going to deliver and I'll keep your money. Clearly, there's a problem. But we are pursuing
the conversation that this shouldn't be a regime-specific situation, in that it's a trend. It's happened before, so
yes. But you see, but Alfred, if it is okay, so in 2016. There were similar happenings, right? It was a duty of the government that succeeded us to ensure that the situation was sanitized. That is why we have taken this action. So you see that this has not been a normal audit report that is done and kept on the bookshelves, and we wait for Parliament to go through the motions. It has been made public. The Finance Minister has specifically, in fact, the Finance Minister actually informed Parliament ahead of time that I'll be doing this. And indeed, if you listen to the Deputy Finance Minister carefully, he said that we are going to take additional steps to ensure that this does not happen. In fact, even before contracts are awarded, we will do things that protect the interests of the state. So you must get what they call commitment authorization, which means that the state must give you a warrant to indicate its readiness to take on board the contract and be in a position to pay before you commit the state. If you go and commit the state without commitment authorization, the liability will fall on you personally and not the state. So it is one of the reasons why we have been meticulous and avoided the problems that have been associated with procurement in the past. You have to get it. The Finance Minister has to get it. When he gets it, you will go through it. And it's not in all instances that the contract will even be approved. You can be told that, no, this contract is not essential. It's not necessary, so we won't consider it. The other leg of the argument is that a value for money office has been set up. People are talking about the procurement authority. It is true. You see, they only enforce compliance with procurement laws. In terms of who qualifies, what documentation you must provide, what process you have to go through. That is one thing. And then it's another thing to say that this phone, you are saying that it is sold for, let's say, 100 cedis. But our checks show that it should not sell for more than 60 cedis. That is what the value for money office will do. You know, it used to be done by Crown agents. But Crown agents is an external organization. If I'm not mistaken, I hear that they've even folded up because they've had some problems. But we as a country do not have an in-house mechanism to address the problems that arise from contract inflation and what have you. So that is precisely what the value for money office will do, to bring the expertise of people who understand the field to bear on government contracting. That way, because people have always wondered why government projects are more expensive than private sector projects. People have wondered why.
True.
One of the reasons is that contractors price in the delays in payments, because often there's a delay. So in order that the monies they've taken to finance the projects do not become a burden and banks do not pursue them and all that, they price it in so that if it delays, they still have sufficient resources to make up for interest payments and then get their margins. So in order to avoid that, we need to ensure that the state is in a position to pay. And that will come if the state is aware of the contract and then the price is reasonable and falls within the budget that has been drawn up for the financial year.
I see. I need that clarification.
Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
hasn't spoken on this matter.
Just 1 minute. Felix.
Quickly.
The value for
Money office. Value for money. Yes.
Value for money audit office would be for future contracts or review of existing contracts. But the issues today are non-performance in existing contracts.
Yes. So all of that will be addressed.
And lawsuits
so for
associated
instance,
with that.
the way you find out is through audits. The Auditor General audits government books every year. So if there are issues of non-performance, he will flag it. It is his job. Once it is flagged, as we have had in this instance, action will be taken. And mind you, apart from the parliamentary proceedings, there are also criminal proceedings that the Attorney General will initiate.
Right.
Against people.
Thank you. No, thank you very much.
Yeah, but you see, it is one point, it is one thing to deal with the past.
Yes.
It's even more important to learn from the past and put in place systems that ensure that it does not recur. That is how you make progress.
Thank you.
I was also going to suggest citizens' rights.
That's fine.
Citizens' rights under Article 41
to flag,
to also come to court and demand our duty.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'll pick on Felix's last point, which I think is important. One thing to look at things in the past, and another one is to build towards the future to protect past omissions and problems. But this, you see, every year there's an auditor's report, and we sit around and debate and discuss, right? So this is not new. But this conversation is pointing out 3 key issues that I think we need to consider. The whole idea of contracting government business, because certainly that's where a lot of money gets lost, traditionally. And I remember a time when there was an attempt to introduce some program, not in this country, but in the UN, to assist contract negotiations. There's a big-time contract negotiation between African countries and external organizations, because they are coming for money. So if you are not smart enough, you don't know the system, you don't know even certain words that are used in the contract, they will take advantage of you. And I think it's present in our case, how contracts are really concluded, the fine lines. Because if you have a contract that says that give me 40, but you cannot come back until you give me another 40, and you sign on, you are really causing financial loss to the state. So I think that is one issue I wanted to bring up. But more importantly for me, the systems and processes that have been highlighted by my good friend here in his presentation. That's where the problem is, the systems and processes. And the third aspect is the human agency, the 3 together. If the system is known to be wrong, what have we done over the years to put the right system in place? That's why I liked Felix's last point, as I mentioned earlier. If the system has been wrong all these decades, not years, 30 years of the Republic, if the system has been wrong, what has been done? Which, if nothing had been done until now, then I think there's a serious problem of collusion between the bureaucrats, the technocrats, and the political elite to be siphoning money all these years from the state, clearly. Because, look, if you have a project and you decide to contract it out, and first of all, there must be a system in place that will check the whole process of it, the signatures, whoever signs on. So in the end, if there's a problem, it's not only the minister you're going to call to account. It should be those who prepared, because there's a system. Everybody signs on before finally a minister will sign on, and then it goes to the finance ministry to be funded. Is that not the system? So what is in it? That chain. Who are there? We need to find them out. Because when these things happen, they will simply say, oh, it's the politicians and da. But it's not only the politicians. There is an inbuilt arrangement that allows all those in that chain to steal money from the state, okay? Then the idea whether it's corruption or thievery and all, well, it's a human agency. Because even if the system is good, and many a time we try hard and put in good systems, then the individuals in charge would deliberately subvert the system. And that's an example. You remember when the new technology was introduced to the harbor system? You remember? Before the year ended, they were all non-functional because we were told that they were broken down.
True.
But the truth is that they deliberately sabotage it so they can go by the manual way which allows them to steal the money. So I guess I'm saying that if in fact, Felix, you're talking about this new arrangement to put certain new systems in place to check, I'm all for it. But before then, those who are found to have been culpable
now
must be held accountable.
Of course.
And even if possible, and I dare say, we can go back before the last government.
No problem.
Yes,
Indeed.
and let's expose all of
Indeed,
that. So we can all be happy.
Not to cut you off. Indeed, some of the claims that have been flagged go as far back as 2012. But what matters is that at the point that you are about to pay, or the person has brought a claim to be paid, you do your due diligence. So it doesn't matter. Even if the contract was awarded in 1970 and it's still pending payments, you still have to do what has to be done at the point that you pay. So, for instance, we are told that 10.5 million was paid to a bank in interest under 1D1F.
Yes.
And they even provide a specific bank account that money was said to have been paid to. Auditors go, the bank denies owning such an account or even a number. Or
the account numbers could not be traced.
They could not be traced to the bank.
But the monies have been set.
The books reflect that monies have been paid. But the bank says no money of this sort passed through here. And the account being quoted does not even exist.
In this case, you can go back to the system.
Of course, so you just trace who authorized it. Of course, that is what the audit has revealed, and it will be dealt with both at the parliamentary level
Mr.
and through criminal.
Let me just
Daniel is there.
Daniel Demelovo is former Auditor General, is joining us on Zoom right now. Mr. Demelovo, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
You've been following that discussion, and this is an exercise that you have conducted yourself before as former Auditor General. This may not surprise you, but with the elements that we are seeing now, who should be answering questions for what we are even talking about this morning?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your panel. I've been listening to their discussions, and they are spot on. I completely agree with them. The truth is that all those who are complicit in this process must be held accountable. If it is a minister who authorized a payment of a claim that does not exist, he must or she must be held accountable. But the point has been made by Prof, and I agree, that without the connivance of the public officer, there is little a politician can take from the public service. Because the system is such that there are validations of what we call cross-validation or checks and controls or checks and balances, said that you cannot do it alone. For instance, I don't think there is any ministry where the minister alone can take a checkbook and just sign and it will go through. There may be a need for a second signatory, and that second signatory will not be the same minister. It will be a technocrat. Definitely, if the claim is brought to the ministry, I don't think they brought it to the table of the minister. Even if it happened that way, the minister will refer it to the procurement officer or somebody in charge of administration or finance. And they will verify and say that, yes, goods have been supplied, services have been rendered. So if all this tends to be untrue or false, then we have to hold them accountable. The only thing I want to add is that, yes, I agree that Parliament is having its process, and some are also talking about prosecution, which is also good. But there is an easier way out, which we have always omitted. There are also provisions for administrative sanction. There is no way that you sitting in Channel 1 TV, you will bring a claim that you went to hospital for maybe 100,000 Ghana cedis. The institution should pay. And later on, they found out that you didn't even go to hospital, it's a fake claim, and they will allow you to continue sitting there. The minimum which will happen to you is dismissal. Why would the government also not suspend or interdict all the officers involved in this and then get them investigated. Because once you make a payment or BTA or sign a request for payment, your name and signatures are there. So we can identify these people, suspend them or interdict them, but set up a committee to investigate their level of involvement in these things. And if after the investigation it is established that he or she was actually complicit in this, then the person is dismissed. So the administrative sanction can take the lead. Then we can take time, and we are told justice, the fields of justice grind slowly. So we can take time and go through that slow grinding. And Parliament can also have its say by debating it in Parliament, which is right. So that is the only thing I'm calling for. There is no justification for those officers to remain at post, enjoying. You see, we are all livid or annoyed about what has been disallowed, but we are not aware that some will have gone through, some payments will have been done, which we cannot go back for. So I think it's a very good thing, and I'm happy with what Honorable Felix Ofosukwachi said. We are now putting in place control measures to prevent the occurrence of it. And absolutely. The value for money audit office that he mentioned, it has a very important role to play, not only because of overpricing. At times, the value for money audit office may even look at the quantity that you are looking for. Does it make sense? In the public service, some people buy stationery or items for the next 10 years. If you look at the consumption rate, it may be for 5 years or for 10 years. Do we need to incur such expenditure? And at times, they even have a stock that they have not used, and they still want to buy and just waste government money. So we may have to look at all these things and put in the preventive measures. I also want to suggest that one unit which plays such important role, again in their respective MDAs, is internal audit. Let's make the internal auditors independent. Today, in the business world, in the corporate world, internal audit is even outsourced. So internal auditor must not necessarily report to the principal spending officer who he or she is checking. We should put the internal auditors under the agency, and then they are sent or posted to go and monitor activities and provide assurance at the various ministries, departments, and agencies, just as Accountant General does. If you go to Ministry of Health, the accountants there, they are from Accountant General. The Ministry of Education, the accountants, they are from Accountant General. But they are posted there to do the work. The same thing can happen to the internal audit, so that they know that the one I'm checking is not responsible for my salary, for my transfer, for my promotion, etc., so that they are not compromised. Thank you.
I see. And there's been a suggestion that the forensic audits, based on what we have seen so far since this administration took over, employing a lot of the forensic audits to uncover a bit more detail than what a normal audit would be. The forensic audit should be the baseline auditing for public accounts. Is it one that you agree?
I completely agree. You know, there are several types of audits that we provide in the public sector. People just hear of audit and they think all the audits are the same. No. If you go under clause 2 of Article 187, the audit of accounts, which is stated that the Auditor General should do, and within 6 months, according to clause 5, he should report to Parliament. That is a financial audit. So that's the financial audit, which is done annually, or we call it regularity audit. You do it regularly, okay? Then there is what we also call compliance audit, where the auditors go to see whether the provisions of the law and the system or the controls are being adhered to. Those are a different type of audit. And if you go under Section 16 of the Audit Service Act, it also provides that the Auditor General may undertake special audits and report to Parliament. And again, let me also do some education over here. I've heard some people arguing why is the audit report or the liability audit report being debated or being discussed in Parliament instead of it going to Public Accounts Committee. If you read both the Constitution and the Audit Service Act, I mean Constitution Clause 5 of Article 187 and then Section 16 of the Audit Service Act, Auditor General reports to Parliament. And in fact, Clause 6 of Article 187 even went further to say Parliament shall debate the audit report, and when they find it necessary, refer it to committee. So Parliament is not supposed to always send it to Public Accounts Committee. They can debate it. So I think that is also right. So the special audits that you asked about is very important. Value for money audit, procurement audit, IT audit, etc. They are all called special audits, and they come in to fill the loopholes between the periodic or the regularity audit, which is the financial audit report that goes to Parliament every year. Thank you.
I see, and I know there's one conversation. This fits into the bigger issue of the Operation Recover or Loot, which you, together with lawyer Martin Pebu, were part of the, the preparatory team. Now, the pace of oral has been a subject of conversation, not just this week, but in the past few weeks gone by. Questions have been asked about whether we are going according to what the expectations were regarding oral, and then also whether oral is dead. In fact, there are some persons, in the MPP who have started on this plan saying oral is dead. You overpromise and you are under delivering. Oral is just oral. You are just talking more than doing. Now, Mr. Damelovo, when this question was first asked by you about increasing the pace, the answer to it was that nothing could have been done beyond these cases going through the judicial system, which is slow in itself. Does it answer the question?
Yes, because we can't go reinvent a judicial system without changing the laws. So we just have to follow the status quo or the laid down modus operandi so that we are not faulted or the case doesn't get thrown out. But the frustration some of us express, if Honorable Ofosukwachi is there, he may like to hear me out. The frustration I have expressed is not about what happens in court. I heard they said if the case gets to court, we cannot go and quicken or speed it up. That is not my frustration. My frustration is about the legal framework for addressing financial or economic crimes. One, the proof beyond reasonable doubt of financial and economic crime is a very difficult and a tall one. So in many jurisdictions, and including Ghana, the laws normally provide for reversed burden, so that if we can establish beyond reasonable doubt that the money is in your account or belongs to you or in your possession, then you may have to prove to us how you got them. If I want to give evidence, if you go under Article 286, Clause 4, the Clause 4 says that between your first assets and liabilities declaration and the subsequent one, if the growth in your resources or your property is not commensurate with your known sources of income, gift, or any other known sources, then it is an asset or wealth acquired unconstitutionally or against the Constitution. Again, if you go under the Money Laundering Act, Section 1, Subsection 3 provides that in the course of you being investigated for money laundering, if assets or property is found in your possession and it is not commensurate with your sources of income, gift, or etc., then you are guilty again of money laundering. This is the position that I've been taking, that let's expand it to help prosecutors so that they don't have to show when exactly you stole the money. Again, you know how long these cases stay in court. I know the judges, the lawyers are there. They make money when the case remains in court. But can't we put a time limit to say that, look, if you are trying financial crimes or corruption-related cases, you have a year or a year and a half. So when they are doing the case management, they must be within 1 year or 1.5 years. Otherwise, we keep trying these cases until there's a change in government and the case is discontinued. So that is the frustration that I've been expressing. So if any government official didn't get me right, I didn't say that they should go to court and whip the judges to give judgment tomorrow or this morning. All I'm saying is that we need to change the legal framework to make the prosecution a bit faster or a bit easier for the prosecution. Thank you.
I see. But then again, you would concede that the promise of oral was made with a certain pace in mind, that to some, there was some level of certainty that when these cases were even mentioned, it's not going to keep long. People should have been serving jail term by now. And so that's feeding into the frustration that you hear some persons, even within the NDC, expressing about oral so far.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because remember, before the election, we were told, and even after the election, the president has met the Chief Justice, Attorney General, Auditor General, etc., and they've come out with an information that there's going to be a special court. We remember before election, there was a promise of tribunals where this thing will be done. We are aware, we have been in this country. when NPP came into power under President Kufuor, and they set up fast-track courts, and people were sentenced, etc. So the frustration we are talking about is the system we are using. If these special courts do not come into place, if we don't resource the judiciary so that they can work beyond the normal time they are working today. In fact, why shouldn't we apply 24-hour economy to the judiciary? Why should we always go to court during the working hour? The judiciary can have time to listen to our cases after 6 p.m. This will all fast-track the hearing of the cases. And if we can put in additional courts, like the special courts, and get the people recruited to do that, I am sure the Chief Justice meant well when he told us he was going to do it. But many times, the resources to do it is a problem. So if we can do all these things, then it will move faster.
So the information is that these courts have been set up, the special courts.
Are they operational? How many cases
are from Lamati people says they are.
How many cases? How many cases have gone there so far?
No, how many cases have gone there so far? Are you aware?
Okay, no, that one I'm not aware.
Thank you. So that's not what we are looking for. Not empty shells. We want a system which is working.
No, it's okay. No, Mr. Nolo, end your point, please.
So the point I'm making is that it's because of those promises that gave us the hope that within a year or a shorter period, people will have been sentenced, or maybe convictions will have been obtained by then. And let me also be quick to say that I, for one, I was not only waiting only for the judicial system, because I know that the Auditor General has a major role to play. If these reports, especially the oral, majority or almost all, were given to the Auditor General, all the expenses that were deemed to be contrary to law could be disallowed. That is faster. And Clause 9 of Article 1A7 says it is the offended person, the person who feels offended by the disallowance, who should go to court. And if he doesn't go, then Section 17 of the Audit Service Act provides that after 60 days, the debt has matured. So all that the Attorney General will have done is to file a civil claim at the court to recover the money. I think we will have made some progress by now. And none of this will stop the prosecution. So if we are expressing frustration, this is the angle from which some of us are coming. We are not saying that we should go and push a judge to give judgment tomorrow morning. What we are saying is that the legal framework will continue to favor the criminals. Thank you.
Well, I see. And you point at the lawyers as well. That you say they've mastered the art of prolonging cases to delay to a point where there's a change in administration, then there's no prosecution. Two of them are here.
Exactly. Yes, they are aware. And they,
it's true,
including you.
Yeah.
You know, some cases they are a bit more political than criminal. And so it is difficult for you to give judgment when a particular regime is in office. They may not accept it. But that is the fact or the view or opinion I hold. So you see correct. That they keep deferring or adjourning the case till immediately there's a change in government. Then you hear that big English, nolli prosequa, and that is all. Hey, is it English? I think it is Latin word. Yes, you hear that nolli prosequa, and our money is gone.
Yes.
I see. But you agree.
I'm very glad that he points that one. So the filing of the nolli prosequa on the preceding cases. So, he has been very fair, and I want to commend him. The filing of the nolli prosequa was the beginning of probably the misunderstanding some of us had in the prosecutions that we thought was politically tainted. And one of the things that I want to disabuse his mind of is the perception that we delay cases in order to make more money as lawyers.
You know the loopholes in the system, so you exploit it.
I don't agree to that because sometimes you make more money when you are very meticulous and you do it quicker. It depends on each case, actually. So it's not the case that lawyers frustrate the court system. Yes, it's a perception.
But look, some of the cases, you know that, look, this case is bad. So you would delay. Look, please, let's not deny.
Get more money.
Oh, well,
not get more money.
The thing is that you know that this case, if you don't delay, look, you are in for the slaughter. Let's not deny this.
Wait. No. He made a statement that to make more money. And I'm saying that it's not necessarily
in that case, you get the person out, so it's more money. Look, I can't deny. In every profession, there are reasons.
He says you delay and make more money. And I'm saying that I don't think that is
Okay,
true.
that's your view.
Yeah, I'm going to say it.
You can make your money all right.
Thank you.
Without
That's
necessarily
your view. You say
It exists. It's there. It's there.
people delay the cases for different reasons, not to make money.
Oh, you can't rule it out. That's why it's not even logical. Look, we are human beings. How can we are just one lawyer?
So-
you won't know what every lawyer does.
So delaying, how much money do you get out of delaying?
Because you keep the person out of jail, so you make more money.
Okay.
Delaying doesn't get money.
Yeah, you're joking. Look, sir, let's not over talk.
Right,
Look,
gentlemen.
it's
All
there.
right,
It's
see-
there. Don't try it. Don't try it. It's a stock in trade. It's a trade secret.
I see.
Somebody's trade secret. You are joking with,
Because
please.
the two of you served on the oral preparatory team, do you share that same sentiment about the pace of oral and the fact that 1 year on, some hold the view that, look, to the extent that you gave the indication in their view that there should have been prosecution by now?
Okay, so I should go first. Look, listen, straight answer. I don't, feel that oral is too slow. Straight. Be very honest with you. Maybe because I'm a lawyer. That's the problem. I don't feel the cases in court, I don't think those cases, oral is slow. But where I agree, and I'm coming to the law reforms, I agree with Mr. Demlevo on the law reforms, 130%, right? Yeah, because, but let me advance the point where I have a concern. You see, where I have the concern is that I think the hands are few. We need more hands on deck so that we will roll out more cases. Because the reason I think we need more hands is that, so I look at the state attorneys, the ones helping the Attorney General. It's the same old faces I'm seeing. In actual fact, a few have dropped out. We need more lawyers on board. That's why I say the very seasoned lawyers, the older ones, I think there should be a special program where they will be co-opted to go and help Attorney General to move more cases forward. That's one, I agree. But not that the ones that are currently in court is the AG's fault or no. There are too many technicalities, and those are some of the ones Mr. Demlevo has pointed out, right? Because the burden is on the state, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot. But maybe if we had the reverse burden, it would help. It would make it easier. And we used to have that law, Kwame Nkrumah's time. That was the law we're using on corruption. So you hear Republic versus Nkunsa, and others. There are many cases where we use, that was a reverse burden we were using. So if we find you with this bottle and we think it's corruption, then we'll ask you to justify. So if you can't justify, straight. So you would have to show where you
guilty until proven innocent.
Exactly. And that's the law we're using. Scandinavia, Norway, also some countries, they are still using it. We jettisoned it and say, oh, no, we want to do that. The government should prove you are innocent until proven guilty, which is more difficult. Right? And there was a second point he raised, the internal audit agency people. Yes, it's true. I'm doing some work and I spoke with people in that sector, and they said that the current structure where the internal auditor is embedded in the institutions, so that these internal auditors' appointments, the promotions, right? Is dependent on the head of the institution. Things like development, maybe he needs to career progression, he wants to travel out for further studies, etc. The head of the institution has to approve, etc. So it compromises them. So let's take them out. So there was a bill, the MPP had a bill, but because of change in government, maybe I don't know if Mr. Fusukwachi has what do you call it, some visibility on it. But there was a bill. I remember Dr. Drew Osai, the former head of the agency, was pushing. They were trying to get a bill passed, but now we don't know where it is. So perhaps government should look at it and pass that new bill to make the internal auditors more independent. Take them out of the institution. Take them out of the institution. Let them be independent. Because this current structure, who born dog? The man wants promotion, and at the same time, he wants to flag things that a chief executive is doing wrongly. No, the two don't work together. He's thinking of his wife and family first. So he would rather help the chief executive to steal than to stand straight, stand tall, and then he doesn't get promoted, or he will even be transferred to some very deserted parts of this country, Siberia. If you hear the word Siberia, they take you to a place where nobody, forgotten lands.
So you agree with anybody who say oral is dead?
I disagree, strongly disagree.
Why is that?
Oh, there are at least 7 cases in court. So let's go over.
Promised and that delivered.
No, it hasn't under-delivered. No. You see, but I've said that to speed up, we still have 3 years. To speed up, yes. We will say under-delivered and at the end. So it looks like we want to run ahead of ourselves. But I can see that at the current rate, to avoid under-delivery, let's ramp up the numbers. More prosecutors, more investigators. So strongly, as for that one, I can see, and this is not the first time I'm saying it, that the Attorney General will need more hands. That one, he can't deny it. Because you see, the Attorney General is one person. He has a good deputy, Sremsai, but those are 2 individuals. We will go to court all the time, right? So the experience of these are 2. No matter the number of assistants you have, etc., still, the oral cases are many. They are above 2,000, but we also realize that not all of them are prosecutable immediately. We need more investigators. Yes, we need more investigators. Not all those cases can be. Sorry?
Because the report from the presidency says 36 cases.
You're talking about 30,
no, he means a report, what we submitted to the president. The cases were about 2,500, but not all had enough meat. A lot of them didn't have.
The ones that have meat, of course.
The ones that had meat, I think about 200.
In the report you submitted, let me read it to you. I have it here. When I get my turn. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. So what is very clear is that we will need more numbers to avoid under delivery. But as whether ORA is under delivery, for now, we can't say so. No, to be very honest. Oh, I'll be the first to say it because, I mean, why? Why would I be shy to say? Because if we don't say the truth, we will not make progress. Right now, it's too early to say ORA will under deliver. And let's be very, very clear. Please, that statement that has been attributed, that ORA said we would recover 21 billion, please, that's not what Okujeto said. He said, if. You see, it's a conditional clause. He said, if we can prosecute and deal with everything, if. So it's a conditional clause. He didn't say we would definitely get those out. Look at this. He says, if. And it's clear that for those over 2,000 cases, you are now going to investigate. Remember that on the committee, we were not investigating. We're just receiving complaints. So receive the complaints, compile them, and most critically, you see, sometimes people forget. I keep saying that the president's setting up of the oral thing is a master stroke because you needed to keep the hope alive. You see, we are just booted at the MPP for all the shenanigans, the bad governance they were engaged in.
The oral came before booting them out.
Sorry?
The oral came before.
Yeah, it was a promise. So, yes, it was a promise that there would be oral. So the moment MPP were booted out and people kept clamoring, paying for the blood of the MPP people that, yes, this bad governance, get them in jail.
Be clear. The oral was set up before the elections, isn't it?
No, after the election, but before, you are close. Before the president was sworn in.
Yes,
before the president.
But the committee was before swearing in.
Yes, the committee was set on the 18th of December. Okay. 18th of December, just a few
Mr. Nomelo, I wanted to make a quick intervention. He has to leave us.
Okay.
Mr. Nomelo, quick, I saw your hand up. Quick.
Yes, I want to say to Mr. Honorable Abiyakubi that if what I said about making money out of the delay is not correct, I agree. I'll take it back. But the truth is that at least it favors...
I supported you. It happens. I'm a practitioner and I'm saying I've seen it.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
No. But I've supported
you. That is what you do. That is yours. But my practice...
it is true that we know of cases that have delayed over maybe 5-6 years, and when the change in government came, the cases were discontinued. That is what some of us can do.
Okay. Sorry. No, let me hear you end your point quickly, please.
So the point I'm making is that not necessarily because lawyers make money, and if that is not true, I take it back. But the fact remains that we are aware of a lot of these corruption-related cases that have traveled more than 4 years, 5 years, and when there are changes in government, they are discontinued, and that is what we must prevent.
I see. You put, thank you so much. Thank you. And I kept referencing that briefing about the verdict on oral being described as a dead promise. most of it
Who said that?
was referenced, some members of the MPP for that matter.
Yeah,
Okay. But then again, quick one. And then I'll come to Kofi on this. And
ORA is all-encompassing. So as part of the ORA agenda, maybe we need to remind the president about, I've already mentioned the Internal Audit Agency bill, right? Then the Code of Conduct. Yes, I understand, Mr. Ofosu, we've been chasing in Parliament to get a copy of the bill. But trying to get a copy of the bill is difficult. Look, I think we should remind, yes, we should remind Parliament that, look, listen, it's not up to them to keep the bill. By our constitution, when a bill, before a bill is dealt with in Parliament, it must be published in the Gazette. So you go to Assembly Press. All these years, anytime you go there, we don't have it. Please, the clerk of Parliament must be, maybe we will have to sue him for him to. No, because it's unbecoming. All these years, you go there, they say there's no copy. But the law is that before you deal with a bill in Parliament, it must be published in the Gazette. Wait, let's read this article 106 for you. Yes, it's 1066. When a bill.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you just move. I'll read out the appropriate clause.
I'm going to Kofi Toto on this because reference has been made to the position that some members of your party hold about ORA, over promising, under delivering, and literally being dead now because not much is seen. Well, why do you make that conclusion when there's a lot going on?
First of all,
please, Kofi, before you do so, let me just read the clause so that because this Article 106, Clause 2, it says that no bill other than such a bill, that's apart from the urgent ones, as referred to in paragraph A of Article 108 of this Constitution, shall be introduced in Parliament unless B, it has been published in the Gazette at least 14 days before the date of its introduction in Parliament. So you can't take any bill to Parliament until at least it's been in the Gazette for 14 days. Assembly Press, just next to Accra Poly. And all these years, you go and ask them, we don't have a copy, go to Parliament, we don't have a copy. Please, Parliament should take note. You can't deal with a bill in Parliament unless it has been published in the Gazette at least 14 days. There's an exception where, of course, they've shown the exception.
Thank you very much. Yes, Kofi,
okay.
Please.
Yeah, so, Alfred, it's not just MPP people saying that ORA is dead. Look, if you go on social media, even members of the NDC, out of their own frustration, they will say that, for example, you write something and an NDC person will come and write on your wall. You, if not for the fact that ORA is slow and they are not working, you should have been in jail. All over, on social media. That is their refrain. They are even frustrated themselves, their own party people. So let's not create the impression that MPP is saying ORA is dead. Even NDC people and a larger section of the public feel that ORA is dead. Because why? It was the most high-handed, pathetic, reckless institution or committee ever.
How do you describe
why
ORA
not?
Why not?
With look, my brother.
That they haven't done
my brother, I believe it was in your own studio here. It was in your own studio here. When Sam George said that people are fleeing with money and that they know people who are sending money to other countries. And he said, oh, even next week, he said, even last week, I know somebody who was sending 100. Was supporting him.
Yes, he was here.
So
he was here.
Name that person.
No, you didn't.
You didn't name that person.
I meant that ORA will work.
Alfred, the point is, you created an impression, an expectation. You created a demand. People should go for the blood of MPP. Look, there were even comments that go to the airport and stand at the airport and make sure nobody leaves the country. You create that impression, you create that expectation, and you come and tell us, well, people, what are you telling us? You are the choir master.
Yeah, support.
What are you telling us? You cannot, in your right conscience, be happy with where ORA is.
So propaganda.
Look, Kofi Boache, let's take him aside. He's NDC. Let's take Okujeto Ablakwa. He's NDC. Pebu, you claim you are not NDC.
Yeah, I'm not NDC.
Okay, fine. We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Dom Level,
yeah.
At least he claims he's neutral.
Yeah.
The two of you should be worried that you were added to a propaganda tool. Because you see, Pebu, you are a lawyer. And you should know that you should never participate in an exercise that judges or sort of creates the impression that people are thieves even before they have their day in court. But you participated in that. You participated.
To keep the hope alive. To prepare
hope in the absence of justice. Hope in the absence of people's rights.
Propaganda tool.
Of course, it's a useless tool.
Oh,
really?
Oh, yes.
You don't understand governance.
What governance?
You don't.
No, please, let me talk. See, here's the thing. Now, Pebu is permutating, telling us it was if. Really?
Yeah, it's a conditional clause.
Really,
he said if.
Really?
Watch, please project the statement. He said if, and it's conditional. It's a conditional clause.
If what? If what?
If all the cases are prosecuted. So once we've not yet finished prosecuting, you can hold him.
You see, you said
there are 7 cases in court.
You said this.
7. All right. Skytrain, the National Service one,
Skytrain is what? 2 million.
Yeah, Aludiba. National Service is over 400 million.
2 million.
National Service is
and
over
then you
400
included. Let me talk. You included Bank of Ghana.
Because I would
You included Bank of Ghana, the building. You included the cathedral. Should I continue? You included drip machines. And these are even projects that have been done or equipments that have been procured. But you included them as
but
though...
drip machine already has been shown that it was overpaid by 2 million. GRA is on the Zoom Lion's neck now.
So for the drip...
You see, we have
1 second.
2 million.
So
$2 million.
That's
over 30 million Ghana.
So it was
over 20 million Ghana.
It's not Zoom Lion.
Yeah, it's his company.
I just want
he's involved in it, so he can't run. When we say Zoom Lion, that's
I want to mention the specific company.
Yes.
It's the JA Plant Pool.
Yes, and when we say Zoom Lion, I'm sure it's easier. No, effective communication. If you say JA Plant Pool, many people will not understand. But the moment you say Zoom Lion, everybody understands. So effective communication, I don't come here to do esoteric things. But thanks for mentioning the technical name.
I'm only buttressing the point you are making that.
Yes.
This is a company owned by the same person, known with a particular unit.
Yes.
But then there's a specific company was involved in that contract.
Yes. But Zoom Line is sufficient for effective communication.
So you claim that project was overpaid. So was it the overpayment that you were seeking as part of the oral?
Oh, but was it vindicated? $2 million. That's at least 20 million Ghana. Kofi, you know how many people work and don't even make 100,000 Ghana a year?
Let me talk.
100,000. You know how many?
The point I am making is that you told Ghanaians, and this is from the presidency, oral committee report presented, estimated value of 36 cases reviewed at 20.49 billion. February 10th, 2025. This is the presidency. 36 cases estimated at 20.49 billion.
Now, why you say this is the presidency?
As in the presidency.gov, the website of the presidency. So from Felix's office, I'm sure, Felix, you are the one responsible for the website. This is what it says. That oral committee report presented estimated value of 36 cases reviewed at $20.49 billion. Averagely, each case is supposed to give about $583 million. This was the promise. This was the promise. So when Ghanaians ask questions about the expectation and what you have delivered, they have a right. Felix, I believe in Parliament or so, mentioned that they have frozen assets of 1.5 billion.
We'll get into all of that.
Oh, we get into all of that. But that constitutes 0.75% of this amount. Not even 1%. And it's frozen. It's not even money recovered. Because the $600 million the president referenced was through Yoko. But at least what Felix referenced...
It's not dollars.
Is 600 million Ghana cedis. that the president referenced in his State of the Nation's address was through Yoko. But what Felix referenced was 1.5 billion frozen assets and not even recovered. That's less than 1% of what they promised. So even if we go with your condition of if, it is still a promise that you are going to review 36 cases with the potential of giving Ghanaians X amount, which is approximately 21 billion. So even if we go by your hope, at least give us 20%, give us 30%, give us 40%, less than 1% of frozen assets. So Ghanaians have a right to be worried that what is happening? You set out to sort of embarrass people. You set out to destroy people, their reputation, their image, their rights enshrined in the Constitution. That's what you did. So people, when you talk about hope, talk about the rights of people. It's not just a matter of hope. The Constitution, first and foremost, enshrines the right of every single individual. So you cannot, on the back of hope, destroy their rights. You can't do that.
Okay.
So, look, Ghanaians have an expectation. They told us, even when we asked them, where are you going to find monies to do some of your activities? They told us, Ora will give us 21 billion. Hey. When I'm done, I'll give you several instances of comments that they made. That Ora money is coming. 21 billion is coming.
You look for it. And,
yeah, I'll look for it. No problem.
Okay.
Thank you. So you have dashed the hopes of people.
I see.
That is the bottom line.
Quite a number of questions, and I had you all speak because there's a lot that Felix Kwachofosu would have to respond to regarding Operation Recover or Loot. Sure. It's just a propaganda tool that was deployed for you to win this election.
I will start by dismissing that propaganda from Kofi and his folks. You see, that whole propaganda is hinged on that. Let me start by saying that no MPP person will ever support Ura.
But he says he's
No. I'm saying that no MPP person will ever support Ura, but maybe with the exception of a few. So Kofi and his hardcore MPP propagandists will do everything in this world to discredit Ura because there's a political motive for it. But there are more reasonable elements in society who look forward to improvements in the way that public finances are managed, who retain hope that through such activity, first of all, we'll be able to punish those responsible and then put in place measures to avoid their recurrence. That is where the conversation should be focusing. But that's what the propaganda Kofi and Co are showing. To begin with, nobody had said that we're going to recover 21 billion. We speak about the value of the cases. In other words, the projects for which the corruption allegations have arisen total this amount. So let me give you an example. National Service, when we started, we thought the amount involved was around 600 million cedis. Then the Auditor General did an audit and found that up to 2 billion Ghana cedis, which in today's terms is $2 billion, had been embezzled through the National Service scheme. However, if you hold the people, you are unlikely to get 2 billion because they may have squandered the money or done other things that make it impossible for you to get as a country. So it is what you get from them that you recover and give to the state. So that propaganda.
So
these are the projects involved.
This is what the oral preparators
absolutely.
used during the, and we all concede, right? This is a public document.
Yeah. So take the Bank of Ghana, for example.
I'm coming.
Alfred, take the Bank of Ghana, for
cost
example.
of financial scandals listed.
Yes.
It's an estimate.
So I'm on the floor, Kofi. I kept
no problem.
You see, Alfred.
When
so
you
for
are
instance,
done,
the Bank of Ghana building, I've recently found out that it actually cost $400 million.
$400 million?
Exactly.
That's lower than what is
Yes, I've recently discovered that it actually cost $400 million, not the $250 million we had initially thought.
The new Bank of Ghana.
Absolutely. So the building is there. How are you ever going to hold anybody and get $400 million when the building has been put up and it's a state property? So if you were ever to go into it and we're going to do recovery, you were only going to get a part of it. Is it realistic today that you will get $2 billion from Beauty Owari or Mr. SLC? So we need to cut out the propaganda and focus on facts. Alfred, what had happened was this. There were unprecedented levels of corruption. In fact, you in the media every day fed us with corruption scandals to a point where people even became fed up. So there was a need to do something about this sort of corruption and rot. So the NDC, as an alternative to the government that was supervising the routes, said that if we ever got opportunity to run the country again, we were going to implement Operation Recover All Routes, which could only have meant that we will use the legal process to hold those responsible accountable. And then once we have succeeded in holding them accountable, recover what it is that they are alleged to have stolen. That is what it was about. In opposition, there was nothing we could do until we got power. So President Mahama wins elections. And then on 18 December, that is in the period that he was waiting to formally be sworn in as president, he sets up the Oral Committee to gather as much information as they can get. The Oral Committee itself didn't have any power or locus to prosecute anybody. Yes. And that was never what was said about their work. Indeed, I issued a statement. My exact words were that they were a preparatory committee. So we put together people we believed had capacity to help with it. When they started their work, he will tell you, they got over 2,000 allegations against people. They sifted through and saw that around 280 of them had some basis.
Out of the 2,000? Out
of the 2,000. Because it's not everything that people come to tell you that you run, because you would run yourself around, because really, there will be no substance to it. So they brought 280 cases in a report. That report, you cannot take to court to secure any conviction. Yeah. You needed to get accredited state agencies close with the power and capacity to do investigations, and then put together dockets to give to the Attorney General, who would review and satisfy himself that indeed there is basis to prosecute, and then he will proceed. So the claim that Oral is dead is blatantly false. It is MPP propaganda intended to discredit an exercise that will expose wrongdoing under them. That is all. Regrettably, there are elements in the NDC too who have taken the bait.
No, but are you saying that there's really no basis for even persons within the NDC?
Yeah, but so I'm going to demonstrate to you that there's no basis for it. Listen, I'm going to demonstrate to you. I'm going to demonstrate to you. Listen, no, I'm going to demonstrate to you that there's no basis. I understand the desire to have speedy prosecutions because of the extent of the rot. Indeed, if you are an NPP person and you are citing an NDC person's expression of frustration as reason why you are happy, you are actually indicting yourself. You are saying that people are impatient for you to be gold for corruption. That's what that you are saying. And it is not a flattering position to be. You are admitting that you were corrupt, except that nothing has been done to you yet. But the point I wish to make is that what could Oral do? It was always going to be premised on the rule of law. And I was here 2 weeks ago and I told you that nowhere in the Oral promise did we ever promise to use extrajudicial means. We can only use the judicial process.
Domelo, for reference, the certain pace at which
of course, so I'm coming to explain that.
Oral should have
I'm coming to explain it. You can only work with what you have. We for decades we have all lamented the slow pace of cases in court. It is a decades old.
And the tool in the game is evident.
Absolutely. And the decades old is a decades old criticism leveled at the judiciary of Ghana. It's nothing new. So that criticism itself is not an indictment on Oral. But you see, the government of Ghana cannot come and tinker with the judiciary for the sole purpose of achieving a political end. The most we can do is to use the law to see if we can carry out some reforms to make the process a bit more satisfactory than before. So indeed, I have sat in cabinet. A bill to reintroduce the tribunals has been approved by cabinet. It should be in parliament by now. Once it is approved, the tribunals will be brought back.
And that will ensure some
to, among other things, deal with some of these matters and matters involving galamsey and other offenses so that we can speed up a bit. But a slow judicial process is not the same as inefficiency on the part of government in implementing Oral. So what has happened since Oral came? The Oral cases were spread amongst 3 agencies: the police CID, the NIB, and the YOKU.
Before we go on to that, how do you answer the question? You knew about this slow judicial process, but yet made promises that were hinged on a certain pace at which Oral should run.
Who spoke about pace? First of all, who said, for instance, that we will jail everybody under 1 year? Who said that? If you can give me that, we will move on. So what is the basis for saying that if after 1 year, everybody...
You don't have the power to jail people.
No, it's just my word of expression. What I'm saying is that, so if after 1 year, as we have now, everybody has not been put in jail, how do you say that Oral has failed? Did we ever say that in 1 year we jail everybody? Did we ever say that we jail everybody in 1 week or even in 10 years?
No.
You understand me? If you let me land, you understand the point I'm making. So it's important to dismiss propaganda and separate it from facts. So what have the agencies been up to? NIB, for instance, they have looked into 27 cases. They have produced dockets. In other words, they have invited people, questioned them, cautioned them, and built a docket and presented same to the Attorney General for action. Iyoko, they have over 40 such cases. In the case of NIB, over 43 people have been affected, including Kwekwaji Mamenu, who only this week was all over the place claiming that nobody had touched him.
But what happened to him?
Meanwhile, he had been brought in, he had been questioned, he had been cautioned.
When did this happen?
Last year.
Caution on what exactly?
When you are cautioned, it simply means that they take your statement, indicating that you have been brought under a certain...
Question and caution.
On two cases. The Sputnik V vaccine case, and then the Frontier case involving COVID-19 testing at the airport. That has happened. Of course, it is not in all cases that it is highlighted. There are instances where political party operatives mass up and they get lawyers to say it, so then it becomes public. But not all. In fact, I can give you a rundown. For instance, the National Service Authority case, it involves gift to our Mensa, and I don't do this with satisfaction. No, it is necessary. I don't do this to embarrass or humiliate anybody. But it is necessary to so that people stop. Exactly. So give to our Mensa and OCSB, National Service Authority. Iyoko finished it, gave the dockets to Attorney General. He has done it. He is in court. Indeed, I think last week or so, the court indicated that we're going to do case management. It is part of the process. And lawyer Pia Kubu and Martin Bebu will bear me out. The Sputnik V case, Kwekwaji Mamenu, I've told you. Indeed, as I speak, 2 dockets are ready. And in the coming weeks, the Attorney General will take him to court and charge him for these 2 cases. Again, the Accra Sky Train project, it involves Solomon Asamoah, who was the CEO of GIF, and then Professor Amayo Kunfi. So they are also in court. Now, there's a case involving SML. Even though the Attorney General, the Special Prosecutor is dealing with another case. There's another case that the Attorney General is dealing with, involving Emmanuel Kofi Nti, Dr. Isaac Kressel, and Mr. Christian Tetesoti. There's a free Wi-Fi case involving Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, and he himself has publicly said that he has been invited, questioned, and a docket has been prepared. There's a gentleman called Opioluwa Omotayo Ojo. I suspect that he's Nigerian. Benjamin Kofi Jesse, William Entry Dakun, and Matilda Iwia Azuma. They are the persons of interest in the free Wi-Fi battle. There's a National Lottery Authority case involving Kofi Osameyaw, Henry Kwame Asare Yentumi, and Derek Bisi Apia. There's Buankra Inland Ports involving Kweku Forie Siama, who was the former transport minister, Justice Amu, John Bernard Cranton York, and Michael Achagwe Luguje. Pardon me if I've mispronounced the name. Then the DRIP case. It's a matter that people have been called on. The likes of Mohamed Amin Andam, the former finance minister, and Irene Toshi, the former administrator.
They've been called
and questioned. The former administrator of what call it? This Assembly's Common Fund. The COVID-19 Frontiers case, Kwekwaji Mamenu and Samuel Bansa. The Pualugu Multipurpose Dam, Dr. Owusu Efeyaku, the former Agric minister. Wilson Kwabena Dankwa, I beg your pardon. Al-Hassan Alolo Muntaka, I believe he was in the vice president's office. Yes. National ambulance case. Emmanuel Owusu Gwedu.
Okay.
Mathematical set. That's a full expression. Sarah Femi Bedietu Asante, I believe is the spouse of the president's the former presidential secretary, Mr. Asante Bedietu. Kwejo Daku Mensa, Benjamin Kofi Jesse, Philip Tetepadi, and Matthew Poku Prempe.
Again, this is the mathematical set.
This is a mathematical set issue. The Moshosho rice case, there was an issue about importation of some rice that was not fit for purpose or something. David Eje Miensa, Simon Eje, Eli Kulim Dogbe, and Patrick Ohini Ofori. Then there's a duplicative digitalization, which is Ghana Health Service and National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Patrick Kuma Boaji. West Blue Judgment Debt, it involves Ken Oforiata, who, as I speak, is a fugitive, has fled the jurisdiction. And then there's a 13th African Games. I could go on and on and on and on. So anybody who comes to tell, for instance, they've been called, interrogated, and these are cases on which dockets have been prepared. And so the Attorney General has to look through it and then determine a date that is suitable to go to court. If you go to Iyoko, there are some of the cases that were not part of oral. You can only discover them when you come into government, like the National Signals Bureau thing. It was never an oral. In fact, there were many people who didn't even know Mr. Dubois was even a public official. But when we came to power and we got wind of it, we looked into it. Indeed, he was arrested in March 2025. By April, he was in court. The Attorney General has said that he will call 5 witnesses. Three of them are done. He's left with 2. so that they can conclude their case, and then Mr. Dubois will open their case. That is the normal judicial process. My brother, Honorable Apiakubi, is here. He is a lawyer for Wuntumi, and he will testify that in the case of Wuntumi, actually, I think they've done, you are supposed to do a establishment of no case or something, if I'm not mistaken. All the state's witnesses have testified. So the state has made its case. The onus is now on them to either contest the state case through a establishment of no case. Which is normal. In the Atu case, he made a establishment of no case. So it is normal judicial procedure. The National Service case, sorry, that one too, I told you that they are doing case management. It's part of the buffer stock case. There are at least 3 people who are in court over it. Abdul Hanan and his wife, and then I think another individual. What do you call it? So the Attorney General has gone step by step to ensure that this is done. Again, in terms of recovery, when the president said Yoko had recovered 600 million Ghana cedis, there were those who said, we should publish the list. I clarified that apart from oral, Yoko is an established organization that deals with regular crime, money laundering, tax evasion, carjacking, cross-border crime, and all that. So in their normal routine course of work, they've done 642 million Ghana cedis recovery. In 2024, they did 186 million recovery. So this one actually is an improvement on that. But in terms of oral, the only time, again, there are 2 lawyers here who will bear me out. The only time you can recover is when the person has been convicted. What you can do in the interim is that you freeze the assets to protect it, so that in the event that in the course of the trial, they don't divert it and move it outside of the jurisdiction. Indeed,
that is why I asked you that question, whether you have the power to convict. And I'm saying
the court, yes, the court, when the court convicts.
Your mandate
is prosecution. That's all. And that is what we are doing.
Yes.
But I'm telling you what steps have been. Every case that has been investigated or is in court, they have taken steps to ring fence the assets. Indeed, there have been instances where some of those whose assets have been frozen have contested. They've said that the assets don't belong to them, and therefore the state cannot purport. They are allowed to do so. It's part of the judicial process. Everybody accused must be given sufficient opportunity to defend themselves. In the case of lawyer Piakubi's client, Wuntumi, he would tell you his assets have been frozen.
How much of his assets?
Indeed, I regret to have to. Sorry about it, but
no, the matter is still subjudice.
Fine.
No, you are allowed to mention those facts.
So he has. Look, we discovered for instance. No, it's not about.
Please go ahead.
I'm not. Let me also make it clear. I'm not pronouncing.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm not pronouncing on the substantive case. I'm only telling you the facts. I'm telling you the action that the state has taken. So, for instance, on the 8th of January, 2025. It was found that about 50 million Ghana cedis had been paid him from Cocoa Board.
Yeah. Cocoa Board
for some work that he said to have done. He moved 30 million of that to purchase some securities. In other words, bonds, I think, treasury bills. And then about 23 million to purchase or set up an insurance company.
Hey, man. When was this?
Oh, this was in January, February.
Last year.
Yes. So all these assets have been frozen, as I speak. Indeed, again, look, even his mobile money account has been frozen.
Yes. Mobile money account.
Even his mobile money account has been frozen. Unless he sets up another one or use another conduit, he cannot use mobile money, receive or send. So that is the extent to which the state has gone to ring fence these assets, pending the determination of the case. How can anybody see this and say oral has died? The other issue too is that it is important to do thorough investigations. The reason being that it costs money to prosecute people. There may be cases where you suspect strongly that wrongdoing has occurred, but you may not find the evidence. Yeah. In that case, you don't go at all. You suspect strongly that there must be some wrongdoing, but either the evidence has been so well concealed, or that the information available is sketchy and scanty, so you can't go to court with it. In that case, even if you have that suspicion, you cannot go, because it costs money, it costs time to prosecute people. It is state resources that are used to do the prosecution. So if you are not absolutely certain, you cannot go there and waste anybody's time. So it is not fair to say that oral has not died. And if those who are most affected by oral, MPP appointees, are saying that it has died, you must understand the political context within they are saying so. So I implore all Ghanaians to support the effort to sanitize the system by holding people who are believed to have offended the state through corruption to account. And then more importantly, put in the system going forward to ensure that this sort of thing does not recur. That for me is where the conversation should be going. But let's talk about 21. So if 21 billion has not recovered, has not been recovered, then all aspects. That is not the truth.
You have an expectation of oral.
Sure.
And yet you are having to deal with the weaknesses in the judicial system.
You see, again, there are two strands. You see, there are two strands. We must be careful. You see, we must be careful not to allow governments to overreach. So that interfere in the judiciary. Look, one of the criticisms that we leveled against the MPP was that they were interfering with the judiciary. And I'm sure Professor Adman Bafo-Adjumandua has had occasion as an analyst, a respected analyst, to comment on these matters many, many times because the media would reach him for comment. We have said that. I personally have gone on public record to criticize judicial performance and accuse the MPP of tinkering with the judiciary for some outcomes. We cannot come to power.
Well, you've done same.
No. Listen, even the judiciary are not beyond reproach. They are not beyond accountability. So if it is found that the Chief Justice has done things that offend the law and the process is undertaken through constitutional... I beg your pardon. Please. When you sack Charlotte say nobody has you what things. So you cannot come here and purport. You cannot mount the moral high ground. You cannot mount the moral high ground. Charlotte say was a constitutionally... Charlotte say was the head of a constitutional body. They were an independent body. Yet you remove her.
Even the substantive cases are not even of the same standard.
Why does it have to be of the same standard? What are you talking about? What are you also talking about? You have the right.
Transfer somebody.
I beg your pardon. No. I'm saying that.
You claim over 100,000 of our money.
Let me make a point. I'm saying that you, Kofi, and the MPP,
you, Kofi, and 100,000 a year
cannot be the determinants of what should constitute somebody's removal. You removed Charlotte Osei. We disagreed vehemently. People even went to court, yet you removed her. So if the Chief Justice of Ghana is deemed to have offended the law and the Constitution is followed to remove her, it is in order. That does not mean that you have tinkered with the judiciary. When you remove Charlotte Osei, you did tinker with the Electoral Commission. Is that what you did? So the mere removal of the head does not mean that the judiciary is no longer independent. Indeed, since the new Chief Justice was installed, has the NDC not lost major cases in court? Under you, I beg your pardon. In your time, even the mere announcement of a panel told everybody how the case will go. Look, let me give you a typical example. Let me give you a typical example. You see, by stroke of a pen of the Attorney General writing an application to the court, the panel can be changed. We were told, for instance, there was an instance in this country where a judge held Kennedy Japon in contempt for something that he said. Okay? Kennedy Japon went to complain that the judge is the one against whom he made the statements. And therefore, if he appeared before him, there was likelihood of bias. The judge was changed, was he not? Yeah. Yet when the former Supreme Court judge, Honyonuga, if I'm not mistaken, went to make politically motivated statements in the Volta region, and Opuni complained, he was still made to sit on the case until he went on retirement. The judge who came and said that he was going to start the case anew, within a month he was transferred. You understand the point I'm making? So the MPP cannot be lecturing anybody. No problem. But I did that to straighten the record. That their pension, I beg your pardon. No problem. But the point I'm actually defending the judiciary here. I am saying that yes, you are the ones who think that what do you call it? You determine for us what is right, what is wrong. I'm saying that we won't have any of it. The point is this: the judiciary.
It was a personal contribution to the discussion.
So I've made no. The point I'm making is that we cannot say that because we are unhappy about the way the judiciary operates, we should tinker with it.
I think that's
it is an independent institution. That is why when the president had concerns about the slow pace of action on Auditor General's report, what he did was to invite the Chief Justice, the Auditor General, the Attorney General to a meeting to discuss what can be done to hasten the process. Then the Chief Justice said that they can do ABC. Indeed, if I'm not mistaken, he has done that. He has set up a special court to try Galamsey cases and all that. So that is how you do it. But government cannot on its own insist that we don't like the approach of the judiciary. So we have sacked every judge, or we have abolished courts, or we have introduced new courts. That cannot be done. But oral can never be said to have died, simply because those against whom it was set up are saying that it has died. They are not the ones who determine it. Let the facts speak. Again, people are even saying that after 1 year there's no prosecution.
Yes.
When the facts show that that is not the case, there is prosecution, and more prosecutions are going to follow.
Yes.
No, but conviction is determined by the courts.
Yes.
And as Honorable Apiakubi has been at pains to say all morning, our remit ends with prosecution. That is what we have done. It is for the court to determine whether the case we have made can master scrutiny, or that the defenses provided by the accused are sufficient to free them.
There's
That
a
is all
question
that
in this regard,
yes,
that if the right of conviction ends with the courts, then why were some persons described as candidates for jail?
Why?
By some persons.
Alfred, would it be the first time? Let me tell you something. Alfred Woyumi, an Auditor General did a report, and then I think it was Kennedy Japan who found that his name had been mentioned in respect of some judgmental payments. The MPP composed songs. Okay, they started for 1.5 years. Every day after Woyumi was the subject of discussion on TV. Woyumi. Did they not compose songs? Why? Would it be the first time that politicians have been accused?
Okay, no.
No, would it be the first time in our history that politicians have been accused of corruption and they have been dragged?
No.
Why? President Mahama, did the MPP not claim that he had built hotels in Dubai? Did they not call him names in respect of Airbus? What were the outcomes of those matters? So you see, let the MPP not go about saying that people have said that people are candidates. It is not the first time. But you see, you must separate political claims by political operatives from the word of the leader, from the word of those who actually have responsibility to undertake this matter, this activity. It is the Attorney General. What has the Attorney General said? Sometimes when the Attorney General gives briefings, okay? Sometimes when the Attorney General, sometimes when the Attorney General gives briefings, they say that the Attorney General has convicted people.
Okay.
But we know that the Attorney General doesn't convict people.
Right.
You understand the point I'm making? So the claim that oil has died cannot stand scrutiny.
One lawyer whose client is in this matter.
Yes.
I needed you to speak to a number of these issues.
I hear you.
Because, and you had great concern about it appears the Auditor General or the Attorney General is under pressure to secure convictions. That's why you are having some accused persons being turned into prosecution witnesses. What's your concern with that?
I have been speaking generally about the process of prosecution and where I find discomfort in the performance of the Attorney General's department in the prosecution of cases. And this is where I have complained about accused persons being turned into witnesses, prosecution witnesses. And I'm not only referring to any particular case. I'm talking about generally if we undertake that direction, the dangers that confront us as a country. We will have situations where accused persons even admit that I have committed A, B, C, D offense.
Yes.
The next morning, he becomes a prosecution witness.
Yes.
And becoming a prosecution witness, you would have signed a non-prosecutorial agreement with the Attorney General. They are allowed processes. But fancy the person who has admitted having committed an offense. Because of his desperation to get out of prosecution, he approaches me, Attorney General, that I want to be your witness. And for that reason, let me sign a non-prosecutorial agreement with you and leave me out of prosecution. Now, I'm going to bring Mr. Kwesi, who was an accomplice with me, who even encouraged me to do ABCD, that is criminal. Then the confessed criminal becomes a witness and therefore not facing criminal charges. Then Kwesi, who may or may not have done anything, is brought in as the accused person proper. And that my evidence is going to go in support of the prosecution against that alleged conspirator. How fair and how judicious are we in leaving the confessed criminal out and bringing in somebody that the confessed criminal is nominating into the political, into the judicial platform? And I'm saying that if that becomes a tool, chances are that criminals Once they say, I am going to be a prosecution witness, he is out. And if he doesn't like you for anything, say, oh, it was Martin Pebu who encouraged me to do A, B, C, D, which was criminal. Then Apia Kubi, who has confessed to be the criminal, is left out, and an innocent Martin Pebu is rather brought in as an accused person. And then Martin Pebu is prosecuted. Mm-hmm. And the worst case scenario, he is convicted, sent to jail. Is that a criminal justice system that we want to sustain in the country?
But there's cross-examination.
Let me end. Well, how about a scenario where 3 of us are charged for an offense? Mm-hmm. Then Prof will go, I want to be a prosecution witness. He's left off. Martin goes, I want to be the second. He's left off. And the Apia Kubi goes, I want to be also a prosecution witness. So where will be the trial?
Doesn't happen like that.
Is it going to also be the case that when Martin and Prof goes, the 2 of them go and they are admitted as prosecution witness, Andy comes and they say, no, Andy, you cannot be prosecution witness.
How fair? He didn't come early. Hey. If he gets enough, the next person says he doesn't need it. He should have come early.
I'm complaining about such a system. No, wait a minute. So you having been the confessed criminal, because you were first to approach the Attorney General, all your crimes are washed away. No. Okay. You have confessed that I have done A, B, C, D.
Well, you see that the case is
and you see that the case is against you. So you run to the Attorney General. You tell Attorney General, I was the person who did it. Let's say murder. I murdered him. But I murdered him with the encouragement of Andy Apia Kubi. But I want to be a prosecution witness against Andy Apia Kubi. And then he becomes, and then I come back to, in the course of the deliberations, Prof also goes. He's also admitted as a prosecution witness. And I'm the 3rd person to go, having been charged of an abatement of the crime.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the decision to accept the offer of an accused to be prosecution witness is taking on the weight of the information that the person has, is it not? As to whether it's going to add some weight.
Unfortunately not.
Case.
Unfortunately not.
How's that possible?
Unfortunately not, because when somebody comes to say that I have committed the crime, immediately that person cannot, we don't even need any evidence to establish his culpability. Well, because when admission constitutes the commission,
but in a
and
number of these
that person comes to say that I have committed the crime.
The Attorney General, OSP, say these accused persons approach their office. They don't go
coercing them or I am even going to speak about that. If it is the case that they themselves voluntarily go to the Attorney General's office to surrender and be considered as witnesses, how about all of us going and saying that, well, we are also submitting ourselves. We also want to be prosecution witnesses. All of us go there. So where will be the trial?
No, you see, if I may, if I may respond, because you see, in fact, there are instances where the Attorney General
you're asking a question.
No, you see, there are instances where the Attorney General himself goes to, so you come to Akofi, this matter, I've mentioned your name. This is what we have against you. But if you can help us unravel the facts around Honorable Apia Kubi, we'll be willing to either reduce your sentence or let you walk free. So, and I've told you that, you see, sometimes you may have strong basis to believe that wrongdoing has occurred, but the evidence to prosecute may have been well concealed. So you need an insider to help you untie.
So the insider is the person who has admitted the crime.
Yes, if that is the only way. You see, if that is the, you see, and sometimes, for instance, let me use, I beg your pardon. So, for instance, Kofi is alleged to, and Kofi, pardon me.
And then you
Kofi is alleged to have stolen this pen. Kofi is alleged to have stolen this pen. It costs 1 cedi. But Martin is alleged in the same criminal circle to have stolen this laptop. It costs 2 million cedis. So the case that if I sacrifice this 10 cedis, I can get the 2 million.
Unfortunately, that is not the case we are facing.
How so?
No. The person who comes to tell you that I stole this phone.
Yes, but he is helping the state.
You see,
the main culprit.
He is the main culprit. He has admitted.
In this case.
And he says that, oh, and the Apia even told me that you have a phone that I can steal. then you drop the person who has stolen, who has admitted.
You collect the money.
That would be less. I thought that normally they go for the bigger fish.
No. So the scenario you're painting is not the correct one. I am complaining about.
Okay.
And I'm saying that anybody who admits that he is the culprit, and I have an abettor. For better way.
Co-conspirator.
So I say I have been a better.
Or co-conspirator.
No, even co-conspirator is close. But an abettor.
Okay.
Yes,
crime. Okay.
I am an abettor. I am prepared to submit myself to you as a prosecution witness. But come to prosecute the abettor, and I'll provide evidence against him. In that case, how fair is the law on the abettor versus the person who committed the crime?
Okay, thank you.
That's a cross-examination will do a lot of.
Gentlemen, hold on. Thank you. It is an intervention that he wanted to make.
To the court. We are not in the court. The fact is that on this case, it's not only here. In other jurisdictions, the U.S., prosecutors can look for one of the criminals to turn around to be a witness against. It's done. But see, they have to weigh the evidence you have.
Yes.
Before they make all these decisions. So that's all right. So if it's happening here, if you have a problem with how they make the determination,
no. I'm saying that
they can.
But
let me get on to the oral thing, because that's I haven't made a word on that. No. Wait.
Anyway,
just a minute. If it's not control you, I'm going to control you. I'm sorry, my friend.
Stay on that point. On the oral.
Yeah.
And then also what the responses that we have heard so far as to what the direction is and what is being done so far as against the concerns about the pace of it being slow and not being lesser than what was promised. Prof.
There's no doubt. And I listened to my good friend Felix carefully, of course, and all the friends here. Out there in the public, there's a strong perception that the oral is kind of on the quiet. I won't use the word dead, but it's on the quiet. That's the strong perception. And people who are championing or supporting you are frustrated. There's no question at all about that. But what I want to say, in addition, you see, at times, the politicians themselves make us feel strongly that, in fact, there is serious corruption in our midst. I have never gone out to point out anyone who is corrupt. It's the politicians who go out there and point to each other that they are corrupt. Now, towards the 2016 election, NPP in opposition then did a great job in tagging, branding the NDC as corrupt. And to a large extent, I think the victory of the NPP, it was one of the reasons for the victory. That is clear. Then in 2024, I think the NDC became clever or cleverer in branding corruption on the opposition. Not that there were no cases, but they were clever in the way they branded, including this oral thing. So with that, they also disposed of the NPP. So clearly, the two parties are all deep in corruption. Now, when they come to power, it's where the problem is. Do they stand by their allegations and do what is needful in terms of getting people prosecuted? That's what the problem is. Because after the 2016 election, there were a lot of talks about prosecuting people. As I sit here, I cannot recall, if you are lawyers, so if you can recall any incident where any NDC person was successfully prosecuted.
Oh, yeah. Remember the NCA case, okay, the venture capital case, Lawyer Lassie and Co. Right?
They were convicted.
Yes, done.
That's during the NPP time.
Yes, the NCA case had 5.
Okay.
The former deputy national security coordinator, Alaji Osman Mimina, right? Tetevi, Bafuboni,
Yes.
So
now the frustration is that
right.
So currently the frustration is what? Is that you are not fast in prosecuting others?
Yeah.
Is that the case?
Yes.
And we all know that the wheel of justice, you guys will tell us, runs slowly.
Yeah.
But I think, to a large extent, there was this exaggerated allegations that you guys made. That's why people are questioning the oral. Because if you come to the order, it's if or no if. The impression was that about $21 billion CDs, dollars may be collected.
Prof, and it's not the oral committee. It was Okujeto in his personal capacity.
He spoke on behalf of the committee.
Oh, no. It's his personal. I'm a lawyer. Did you hear me say that? I can never make sense. I can't.
Okujeto who said it?
The oral committee. No, it wasn't the oral committee. It's his personal statement.
That you said on the same committee.
Yes, no, but please, it's his personal statement. Oh, I'm a lawyer. Did you hear me say that?
Somebody made allegation that people are transferring money into other jurisdictions. Yes. Martin was on the panel.
Yes, that one I
Martin supported that profusely.
Yes.
So Martin cannot,
that was an individual making an allegation. The government has not said that.
So Martin will have to say sorry for the position I took.
There's a point that Professor Afan makes, which I want a response from.
Sure.
That you tend to label or go on this campaign of corruption
to
win an election. Because you just like how gentlemen, please. Just like he referenced how President John Mahama was accused of corruption by the actual administration, and that Ghanaians voted them into power, and then when they come in, he walks squeaky clean, comes back and win an election again, and you went on this corruption campaign, and clearly Ghanaians believed in this oral, and it appears it's just for the politics of things. There isn't much to do when it comes to executing this campaign of corruption. That's the point.
But what I've just recounted to you here, the facts I've given you cannot support such an assertion. You see, there's a political football that we play. I spoke to you about what they said about President Mahama. They said that he owned hotels in Dubai, and all of that. In 8 years, he was in this country. In fact, they even called him names in the Airbus matter.
Attitude is not good.
No, I'm coming. I'm making a point. If you let me land, please. Even in the Airbus matter, they called him names and said all manner of things about him. He stayed in this country for 8 years. Absolutely nothing was found against him. He even won elections again. Of course, on the NDC side, things have been said. But that is not what oral was. Oral deals with specific cases. It is documented. It has gone through a certain process, and that process is unfolding. I have given you a report on where everything is. So we must separate regular political jousting, verbal jousting. Yeah, he has done this, he has done that, from a process that is outlined. This process, the MPP2 has gone through. After all they said about the NDC, they put a number of people before court, didn't they? So, they secured conviction in some worked.
So going forward,
no
parties.
Is it Honorable Apia could be? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that politicking will stop today or it will stop tomorrow. It's not even in Ghana alone.
We must
of course, we must try to do better. Exactly. We must try to do better. Agreed. Yes. But there's politics and then there is facts. So when you are analyzing, you must look at the facts. What has happened under oral? Is it fair in the light of what has happened and the briefing I've given you this morning to say that oral is dead and that there's no prosecution? No. Prof, that is separate from the political games that we play. Yes.
That's why I'm not using the word dead. But certainly it's very slow for most people who were expecting. Because the way it was presented, it was as if evidence were all collected, people were ready to be sent to the courts and all that. But we know, that's the impression the public out there got. So anyway, I think what we have to going forward. That's why I'm interested. That's why I'm interested. Okay. Because you do not present somebody as if he's guilty when in fact you haven't even gotten enough evidence to do so. So the issue of reputation that he mentioned, and the two parties have done to each other, which is not proper. So I'm hoping that the two parties can find a better way.
But it's not my prof. You have to accuse somebody. It's saying don't accuse anybody.
But before you accuse somebody, you must have something to show.
So if it's defamatory, that's what we have lost on defamation. So if you think it's defamatory,
lawyers make work difficult for governance.
Because Alfred, let me make a last point. I'm sure we are moving to the next topic. Let me make a last point.
I want to show. In fact, I have an exercise to show.
Just a very quick point. at least on this table, we've all agreed the oral doesn't have the powers to recover anything. Right? We've all agreed.
That stage
by
one.
law.
Stage one.
Yes.
The committee, the preparatory committee.
The committee that was set up by President Mahama called oral has no powers to prosecute, to recover anything. We've all agreed, of course. So it shouldn't have been called Operation Recover All Loot. It should have been called Operation Collect Half-Baked Information. Because that's what it was. Collecting half-baked information. That's what it was.
Collect information.
No, half-baked. Because even Dom Levo himself has admitted that some of the information were garbage. Look, the Attorney General himself. Please.
Are we going to stop this?
Let me say this. Last one. Even the Attorney General has said that the calculation now that Pebu is throwing Okujeto under the bus. He said that calculation was off the on the back of the envelope calculation. You know what that means? Back of the envelope calculation. It means that somebody scribbles in their own head and put 1 + 1, 1 + 1, and then they put a number. That's what Okujeto Ablakwa did.
Quite a number of the cases that were captured. It's for good reason that a number of the questions were directed to you. And you've answered, given detail. That we didn't even know until today. So it's important that that information was put out. But this document is what the oral preparatory team put out.
Yes.
Right? Some of them you've referenced. The banking sector cleanup. That you didn't mention. I don't know if there's any work going on in this.
There's work going on. In fact, all 280 cases are the subject of investigations. And you know that it will take some time.
What?
All the 280 cases that the oral committee presented in the report are subjects of investigation. In fact, Yoko alone is selling about 40. They've called in about 100 people to question and interrogate them. In fact, in their case, some of the cases are being prosecuted in court.
Yes.
Okay. Next, this luxurious presidential private jet travels.
But the banking sector cleanup. Can we finish?
No. Yes, I asked.
No, in fact, there are some who says that they don't receive their money and all that. So some work. In fact,
we need to.
The national
the cleanup that you have asked somebody to pay 60%.
The national cathedral. The national cathedral. Indeed, I can confirm to you that they are almost done with the forensic audits. So once it is done, of course, but you have to look at who did what.
But the Attorney General has said that there was no criminality.
No. Again, misinformation.
What?
Propaganda. Again, propaganda. There was a civil case in which someone had sued for something said.
Right.
The Attorney General was called to respond to a specific question. The National Cathedral Secretariat itself did an audit in which, and I addressed a press conference to put it out. Harrowing and disturbing instances of financial law violations were raised. So the president said, let us do a forensic audit so that we know that it was myself or Martin Kwebu or Honorable Apiakubi who did what. Yes. Once that comes up, action will be taken against the people. That audit is ongoing. It will be completed soon, just like we've done for the arrears payment that we put out, and further actions are going to take. That's what will happen.
I think.
Yes. So it doesn't end with what the testimony the Attorney General gave you.
No. Okay. Yes. Now this. Okay. It's all the same.
Yes. The ambulance case. I told you who, and for emphasis, let me repeat it.
The $108
Absolutely.
million
The ambulance case.
Scandal.
Yes, the ambulance case. There's a gentleman called Emmanuel Owusu Buedu, who currently has been interviewed, and the docket has been built on him.
I see.
Yes.
Now, because you mentioned the Sputnik V.
Yes, Ajimamenu is being held for it.
COVID.
Ajimamenu is being held for it together with some other people. Yes.
And then
this one. It's the same. It's the same as the COVID one.
Okay.
Yes.
The Bank of Ghana corporate office.
That one too is under investigation.
Now you say that figure is $400 million.
As I said, I just learned recently it's actually $400 million and not $250 million as we had initially thought.
Yeah, but are you not interested in the banking sector cleanup?
Oh yeah, it's also a matter of.
Let's discuss.
Yes, that's where people like Alasan Alolo Muntaka, Dr. Owusu Efri Akoto, and Wilson Kwabena Dankwa.
What is this?
Are being held. This is a Palugu multi-purpose dam. Yes.
Multi-purpose dam.
Is Palugu abandoned?
But the amount of money you took and the work done were not commensurate. Which stages?
I mean, how does
So we believe that they had we believe that
ORA have
it's not what is the Attorney General of Ghana who has the resources to investigate. But I've told you that the Attorney General who has the resources to investigate these matters and commence prosecution is the one doing this. The oral, and they were a preparatory committee. They simply gathered the facts as they knew them and brought it. That is why that report was not sent to court.
No, this one.
The Attorney General,
no.
The Attorney General has got the NIB, National Investigations Intelligence Bureau, to conduct investigations, call people, question them, interrogate them, and they have built a docket which contains the evidence that they think forms the basis of prosecution to the Attorney General. The Attorney General is reviewing it and will take it to court. That is how the process works. If the NIB did not believe that there was a bill, they won't send it. In fact, let me also, for emphasis, indicate that there are also 9 cases that have actually been looked into, which dockets are being built upon as I speak to you. And just so that people know, I will go through them. There's a Japan royalties case. There's a Polo Beach Club case. There's a AFCON 2024 budget case.
Excellent.
There's a Australia visa scandal. There's a Ghana Trade Fair land case. I could go on and on and on and on. You understand me? So these ones are being docketed now.
This 85 million stadia renovation, Esipong, Tamale, Accra.
It's still probably one of the cases that Yoko is looking at, yes.
Okay, I see. And then...
Yeah, all African Games.
Yes, this
in fact, all African Games, the audit reports, the audit has been completed. The Auditor General has indicated to government that they will publish it in the coming days.
Excellent.
Yes, they finished it.
And
beyond that,
singing
I beg your pardon. Beyond the audits, there's also a docket on the 13th All African Games involving people like Mahama Yusuf, the former sports minister.
The one with Martin, go back. There's one with Martin.
Yes, I told you about West Blue. The West Blue is a judgment debt, and the person of interest is Honorable Ken Ofuriatta, who unfortunately has fled the jurisdiction, so we are unable to deal with it.
Kofi, you said you bring Ofuriatta back.
Yes.
Right, but was it not the chief of staff who wrote a letter to
and gave him 4th January 2025. It was not the end of the government power, so he could not have petitioned the chief. He's not well. Oh, he's not well.
He's not well.
I see.
Thank you.
You remember Animana? As for Animana, they put him in a wheelchair and took him to court when he was not well. He had kidney failure. They took him to court.
Yeah, if you are an accused person, you must be present in court.
Absolutely.
I see. So you mentioned the Sky Train, the 2 million.
Yes, I've
and then
the visa process scandal is that's the Australia visa scandal.
It hasn't been.
But
this one, the special prosecutor.
Alfred, we are not advertising this and not discussing.
So no, I have to go through
the special prosecutor is dealing with this one.
Some of them.
The Attorney General cannot do the same thing.
Yes, these are. It's not a subject matter.
And for clarity, the special prosecutor started this matter before we came to power.
Yeah.
So it's not like we saw it, left it, and he picked it. So that must be put on.
Okay, thank you.
Then he gave it up to Yoko.
Gentlemen, no, please.
And then I must also say, Alfred,
quickly,
that the claims about delay. Look,
Alfred,
the first case that the NPP prosecuted successfully under Apeza Akufo-Addo, they secured conviction, I think 3 years after prosecution started, the NCA case. So the people were, I think the case started in 2018 or so. The people were jailed in 2020. Indeed, in the case of Mr. Chikata, the case lasted in court for 5 years, 8 months. The Daniel Abudakwi case, it lasted 4 years, 4 months. Ibrahim Adam and Co., 2 years. That's a quality grain case. So there's a history of delay in court, but it has nothing to do with government's ability or inability to prosecute.
Thank you very much. Quite a number of your messages, gentlemen. But before I read your messages, let me tell you about this. Whether you are aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations and supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship and innovation, or business intelligence and analytics, or you want to advance through a dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, University of Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. Now, and if your next step is an MSc International Relations, Communications and International Marketing, International Law, the Honorable Abiyakubi, this what I'm telling you is to be good for you, so please listen to Security and Diplomacy, Accounting and Finance, Human Resource Management, LLM in International Law, Security and Diplomacy, or an MA in Biblical Studies and Practical Theology. The pathway is open. The admissions are ongoing. In fact, the April admissions is now open as we speak for the University of Gold Coast. Because our University of Gold Coast, we make it practical, flexible learning, flexible entry, flexible payment. Study around your work and life. Choose a route that fits your background and pay in convenient installments. Your dream deserves structure. Your future deserves strategy. Your purpose deserves training. And that's what University of Gold Coast is offering you. Give them a call on 0263 888 555. 0263 888 555. And tell them you heard it here on The Key Point. They will take care of you well. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. Messages. Kwame Sante says, even Martin Pebo one day on your show said some people who should have been prosecuted now are seen walking freely and exchanging pleasantries with members of this government publicly. The optics don't look good. Ask him if he still stands by that statement. Counsel.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Right. There's the perception, this one, say, Ama Bonso from, okay, in Swatre. That's a place in Swatre.
In Swatre.
Yeah.
There's
the perception that it's all about scratch my back, I scratch your back. Allegations of corruption have become an election-winning strategy. You vehemently accuse your opponent of corruption.
Yes.
People buy into it and you win. But it is important that Felix put out this information about what is being done. What we want to see is the end of it, that if either there has to be recovery, it has to be done. If there has to be prosecution, it has to be done as well. This one here says that I am surprised that Martin Pebo and Apiakubi are fighting over the maneuverings of lawyers. We all know that some of them have mastered the art of taking advantage of the weaknesses in the system to prolong cases beyond 8 years, hoping that there will be a change in administration.
But not all of us.
And the Apiakubi says should be honest about this anyway, but thank you. Thank you very much for your message this morning. This one also says, this from Kofi Fosu Mensa Asim Sebenso. Alfred, let's get something straight. A lot of people complain about non-functional oral and tend to blame Mr. Kwebu Domelevo, who were tasked to just gather information for the failure of the initiative. People should know that they only gathered data and are not the ones to make prosecutions. If they have concerns, they should channel it to government and its Attorney General, you'll say. This one here says, thank you. Good morning. Let us commend Kesilato Forsing, the Finance Minister, for his vigilance and fiscal discipline at the Finance Ministry. Alfred, can you imagine the number of jobs, the monies that have been captured in this special audit could create in our country? Thank you very much for your message. Chief Henan Eko says, asks the minister about the 37 DVLA land sold to private individuals. Is there any information on that?
Of course, it's all under investigation. And when there's any progress, we'll report same to the people of Ghana, yes.
And Lawyer Kakra Samoa says the power of the Attorney General to prosecute whoever and however cannot be challenged in any court. It is a power grounded in the fact that he prosecutes on behalf of the state and must always weigh the interests of the state as against specific individuals. Thank you very much. And this one here from some persons listening to us on the Voice of London Radio in the heart of the city of London. Quite a number of them. And good morning to you. This one here says, why hasn't all what Honorable Kwachu Fosu has told us this morning, why hasn't all that been in the news bulletins for citizens to follow the process until now?
Yes. Alfred, the same people complain when the Attorney General does oral briefings. They say he's talking too much.
He has to continue.
You see?
He has to continue.
So when he talks, there's an issue. When he doesn't talk, there's an issue. How else? Indeed, many of these cases that are put out, the Attorney General has briefed the public on. Okay. At least goes that he's ready to go to court.
We have raised concerns about the approach.
No, again, that
and
approach.
The way
the Attorney General says, no.
Not the fact that
says, Alfred, the Attorney General says that, Alfred, when I came into office, it has come to my attention that you have stolen this phone. I have looked into it. I am convinced that you stole it. So I am taking you to court on Monday for you to be prosecuted. That is what every Attorney General does. Indeed, it is a standard practice internationally. Why? Even the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, just before the elections of 2024, did the attorney of the New York State not take him to court? Did he not hold briefings to indicate why he's taking the former president to court? So it's a standard practice. The Attorney General, through that, cannot convict you.
Yes.
Indeed, you are free to challenge him that what he has said is not true. And then when you go to court, you bring counter evidence to show. And in this country, under the MPP, under the NDC, people have walked free after they were able to show that they are saying that they have evidence. Honorable Apia Kubu's submission of no case, I believe it will be ruled upon on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. If the judge finds that there is merit in what he has said, won't you walk a free man? That is how the process has to be. But if the judge finds that indeed he has a case to answer, he will ask him to open his defense, which is standard practice. So the Attorney General does not convict anybody. He must keep the people informed. But this response is in response to the claim that we are not speaking enough. When the man speaks, people say that
he has to keep speaking.
And he has to go to
it's there. It's allowed.
18 minutes after 10. And let me tell you a bit more about what we are offering to the many people this morning beyond Gold Coast. Also, last year, we gave you a package that took you to Dubai. This year, we are telling you about a package that will take you to China between April 22nd and the 2nd of May 2026. And that is Ocean Bells Travels and Tours. If you want to be part of this trip to China, where you would have stay in 4-star hotels, 5 different options for you based on the success of the trips to Dubai and other areas with Ocean Bells Travels and Tours. They are offering you an accommodation with daily breakfast, package Chinese tours, private land transfers by coach, escorted tour with English-speaking guide, high-speed train, and many others for this period that we have just mentioned, April 22nd to the 2nd of May. It's between $1,500 for this 7-day period. If you want more on this offering of Ocean Bells Travels and Tours with their many, many airline partners, call them on this number, 0242 037 280, 0242 037 280. That is for Ocean Bells Travels and Tours. Our next conversation is on the recruitment. This week we got to know that even though about 500,000 applications came through for just about 5,000 slots in the 4 security agencies, the many people who couldn't make it to the next stage, the minority says refund their money to them. Government has a different position. This is what Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, the Minister in charge of Interior, said about this. Take a look.
Can only bring in 2,500 more police officers. 2,500. I mean, other ranks, and then 500 cadets. So when you put that, that's just about 3,000. Meanwhile, we have 130,000 that are opting to join the police. With the Ghana Immigration Service, by the time we closed the portal, to our utmost shock, there were more applicants to the Ghana Immigration Service than even the Ghana Police. The total of over 180,000 young men wanted to join the Ghana Immigration Service. But the interesting thing is that today, the Ghana Immigration Service, the strength from the Comptroller General to the last officer at immigration stands as 18,300, less than 20,000. Yet you have 180,000 opting to join. And unfortunately, because of the space, the fiscal space, we could only have a space for 1,000. We could have space for only 1,000. When you come to Ghana Fire Service, by the time the portal closed, there were 124,000 applicants. 124,000 applicants for Ghana National Fire Service. Meanwhile, the current National Fire Service, from the chief fire officer to the last officer, they are just about 17,000 plus.
This is what Muntaka Mohammed was talking about. Police, immigration, fire service, prisons. 500,000 applications. What that means is that it's not 500,000 applicants. I think that explanation was given. That is actually about 340,000 thereabout. There are people who apply to multiple
the unique
institutions.
value is 340,000.
348,000, okay. Yes. And for just the 5,000 slots across all four. And this is what we have. They're clearly giving you an idea of what the Ghana Scout Service give us in terms of the labor force as we have it and the net jobs. And the concern is the age bracket in terms of the 2 million unemployed persons in the country. A lot of them within that active youthful bracket of 15 to 35 years. And a number of them were the ones who were trying to get into this. There was also persons who are in employment but wanted to change jobs. So we had some information to that effect as well. In the Ghana Police Service, 130,000 applications were received for just 3,000 slots. That's about a little over 2 percentage points people who will enter. Immigration, 180,000 applications received, just 1,000 available slots. And then fire service, same situation, 124,000, just a fraction. And then your prisons, 71,500 slots. So really, what could have been done differently than, because you, if I say you, I'm talking about the position that the minority espoused, that the persons who couldn't go beyond this aptitude test should have their monies refunded. Why is that?
Why not? I mean, for me, I think these are young people who are trying to find a means to survive. The process itself is daunting. I mean, the fact that you are not assured even if you are going to be selected in the end of the process is even more challenging for the young people. And then also, aside from the application fee that you are paying, there are other fees that you incur. For example, if you have to travel, if you have to, in this case, people have to go to internet cafe to do the aptitude test and all of these things. But look, let's really step back and ask ourselves a few questions. I think, putting politics aside, this government needs to really pay attention to recruitment. You know, just last year, I think around August last year, we had a very unfortunate circumstance where we lost 6 people through a recruitment process. So one would have thought that once we've moved or shifted the entire process to online and means to sort of reduce the human intervention, we will essentially make it even more flexible and smooth for people. First of all, you buy the forms for 220 cedis. You either go to a bank or you pay through a short code. Then you get a voucher. Then with the voucher, you go online to apply. Once you apply, then you submit your supporting documents, etc. The algorithm will then look at the data you've input into the system, being it your grading and all the information, your height, whatever you put in, and determine whether you qualify or not. If you qualify, then you do a printout and go to what we call body selection. And then once you qualify the body selection, then you go to the next step of doing the aptitude test. And then once you pass, you go through the medical stage. So it's a very tedious process that every young person has to go through to be able to get employed. Right. Now, we are being told that 506,000 people, not people, applications, because as you've rightfully said, 348,000 unique, but at least 506,000 applications came in. If you multiply that by 220, you are looking at 111 million Ghana cedis. Yeah. That is going to, now at this point, the whole process has been centralized. So you don't even know where the money is going to. Is it going to the Ministry of Interior, or is it going to the various security agencies? That's a question I think we need explanation on. But at least 11 million Ghana cedis to them. Now, the question is, the government is saying that 100,000 of them are now going to move on because they've passed the aptitude test to do medicals. From what I've been told, it's 1,600 cedis for the medicals. Meaning, if the government is to ask all the 100,000 people to do the medicals, we are looking at an additional 160 million of monies the youth have to pay. So you ask yourself, young people are looking for work. Combine 111 million plus 160 million. You are looking at the government taking from the youth 270 million Ghana cedis, roughly $27 million. Is this how we want to create employment for young people in this country? And that is why some people have argued that, could this be a Ponzi scheme? Is it a deliberate ploy to take money from young people for state agencies that are suffering from, getting the right allocations as a means for them to get some money? I mean, these are questions that are lingering. I'm not taking a firm position, but they are worthy questions to be interrogated because it beats imagination. And remember, the young kids, some of them pay from my checks because I had the privilege to call at least 2 of the people who applied. And sometimes you pay 200 cedis at the internet cafe to get assisted.
I see.
So it's troubling. And for me, I think the government needs to sit up. One, you've created a mess at Airwork, and now you've created another mess. It's not proper, it's not tidy.
Okay.
And I think something needs to be done to correct the mess they continue to create. But lastly, let me wrap up. I think all of these things come down to availability of jobs. What is the government doing to speed up efforts of creating jobs?
Okay.
You've promised 24-hour economy. What we have now is an agency or an authority. Because of time, I'm not able to really delve into the issues. But the question, you promised that you are going to train 1 million young people in coding. How many have you trained? And how many have you transitioned into proper jobs? When you look into their manifesto, I searched for the word jobs, and I got 120. So the word job appeared 120 times in their manifesto.
I see. Now, when this matter of refund came up, there was a question that quite a number, Selassie, who sends a message, reiterates that question about why they asked for a refund, that other institutions use the same process. For instance, applying to a tertiary institution, you don't get admission. So why then do you ask for a refund of said monies, for that matter? And it says, while you were in power as well, was the same process. And
look, the argument of us being in power should stop. It's a bogus argument. President Mahama and Felix and the NDC didn't just ask for Ghanaians to vote for them. They asked for Ghanaians to give them the mandate to reset the country. Emphasis on reset. So you cannot promise reset and then come to power and repeat the very ills that you criticized, and then ask us, you did the same. I mean, it
should be refunded. It should be free.
It's preposterous. So I think the government needs to find a better way. We cannot tax the young people that we are supposed to give jobs to. The government, in its all right conscience, cannot make $270 million, $27 million from a recruitment process. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to find out. Was it the same situation under MPP? I'm not too sure.
Yes. See, under the MPP, I can clarify that under the MPP, what I found out was that once you complete the aptitude test,
to pay money for
application. Yeah, they were.
And that is wrong also.
They were.
You see, no, that is wrong also.
They were.
Because there's no way I will support a scheme that will charge young people to get into employment. I will not support it. If MPP did it, it was wrong. And in fact, people who are complaining now, they must also condemn that which happened before their complaint will be justified. Because I don't see why young people who have graduated from schools, they want a job and they have to go and find money. We forget that some of the applicants don't have parents who are able to pay. So in that case, are you saying that these people don't qualify for job because their parents cannot afford? I mean, I don't think that it is proper for the applicants to pay anything at all. If we cannot even give them jobs, at least we give them the hope that they can also apply and qualify. And just a few minutes ago, I asked Martin of the name of this brilliant policeman who he's passed, I think, who was IGP Peter Namfuri. If it was this case of using sizes and heights and leg sizes and things, he wouldn't have become a policeman. But this is an excellent policeman who understood policing, discharged his duties responsibly, and finished as an IGP. So when you see people who are of various sizes and use that against them, I don't think that is fair.
Okay.
So it must be given to, I mean, there are people who come into institutions, various sizes, different talents, different capabilities. So your size alone shouldn't determine whether or not you get employment.
So they make exceptions. There's the height, the standard one, but there's exception when you have exceptional abilities in other areas. So it's not,
yes, but why would I be refused employment because I'm short or I'm tall?
Yes, so there's an exception when you have some abilities that they lack.
I think that anybody, when you are short and you have those abilities, if they don't gauge you, how would they demonstrate the abilities? So it is not a fair standard to select people into public space.
Thank you.
I think that, and let us all be fair, I mean, it is positions for Ghanaians, and the Ghanaians of all places, all creed, all politics, all education and things. So my take is that let the applicants be considered fairly.
Okay.
And those who have been paying, I support that they shouldn't be made to pay. But I think the standards were set before they started paying. So probably too late now. But going forward, I think applicants should not be made to pay because they want jobs.
Thank you.
Again, those who have been paid already and have not secured selection, please, let's do something for it. I mean, if we can return their monies to them, it will be fair.
Well, we'll get some answers to those questions posed by Kofi and you, Honorable Apiakere, from Honorable Felix Kwatiofosu. But there was a question that I missed because we have moved on to the next issue.
Let's establish the fact that it is unfair for people to pay.
Right. I wanted to quickly, this came from Dr. Kwame Ansan. It says, good morning. I want to find out from Felix Kwatiofosu whether there's any investigation going on about the said rot at Cocoa Board and what was inherited and what has been referenced to this whole Cocoa Board crisis that we have been talking about for the past few weeks gone by. Just a quick.
Yes, there is. The matter has been first by the officer. He's working on it. So through Yoko.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go for this quick break. When I come back, you'll respond to those questions. But let me tell you about the Maha Beach Resort. It's a beach experience this Easter holidays. Create unforgettable memories at the beach with family and friends by booking our all-inclusive 3 nights package from 3rd to the 6th of April 2026, starting from 5,100 Ghana cedis for a couple. Early bird discount, book and pay before the 25th of March 2026 and save some 10% extra. And this is exclusive to those of you watching right now on the key point. Package offer guests free access to all in-house facilities, swimming pool, gym, cinema, and many others. And guess what? Takrady you arrive on Friday at 5 p.m. Terms and conditions apply. Fun activities, live band, carnival, many others, boat ride, horse ride, jet ski, and so many on offer for you. Call for your reservations at the Maha Beach Resort to avoid disappointment. Mobile phone number 050-157-0684, 050-157-0684, or 050-124-114, 050-124-114 for some more information on Maha Beach Resort. A number of you have sent messages about the fuel prices as well that have been projected to go up. Petrol by almost 16% and diesel by almost 17%. The Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors will have some answers to that briefly. After this quick break, stay with us.
Season 4 officially begins. We open our house, our doors, our hearts, and our timelines to a brand new set of housemates, hoping to find love. And through that, we'll find friendship, we'll find fans, possibly walk away with that winning cash prize. But most importantly, we'll find an experience. Welcome to the most anticipated, most obsessed, and most talked about season yet of Perfect Match Extra.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosumtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast. Then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana cedis single, 5,500 Ghana cedis shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it.
Extra is sponsored by Enapa Food.
Love, drama, surprises. The biggest dating reality show is back. Perfect Match Extra Season 4 is launching 14th March 2026 at Studio B. New singles, new connections, and even bigger drama. Be part of the experience live. Audience must be seated by 8 p.m. sharp. Catch the launch live on TV3 and Adisa Plus. One night, one house, a brand new journey to find the perfect match.
Perfect Match Extra is sponsored by Enapa Foods, Heaven Insecticide Spray and Coil,
Gino Jollof Mix, Gino Hot Pepper Powder,
Frutelli Calipo,
Darling XYZ Wine, Darling Drink.
This Sunday on Hot Issues. Responses like we saw in Tamale is testament that the commands that are resident there are not up to the task.
If you look at every city, we have certain minimum number of officers. I must admit, in the north, it's one of the biggest challenges that we're having. It's not only in Tamale.
18 private partners. Why do you think TribeNet is the one that stuck out for him to use as a case in Parliament?
We wanted a solution, and a number of them, I think about 4 of them also came to do a presentation, and we saw the answer in the cabinet.
Is the new national security bill a political statement, or there really is need to repeal Act 1030?
Obviously, there's a need. Other than that, there's no way we'll have taken it to Parliament.
How safe are the Ghanaian people?
We are very safe, and I want every Ghanaian to feel safe.
Hot Issues shows on Sundays at 1 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
Responses like we saw in Tamale is testament that the commands that are resident there are not up to the task.
If you look at every city, we have certain minimum number of officers. I must admit, in the north, it's one of the biggest challenges that we're having. It's not only in Tamale.
18 private partners. Why do you think TribeNet is the one that stuck out for him to use as a case in Parliament?
We wanted a solution, and a number of them, I think about 4 of them also came to do a presentation, and we saw the answer in the cabinet.
Is the new national security bill a political statement, or there really is need to repeal Act 1030?
Obviously, there's a need. Other than that, there's no way we'll have taken it to Parliament.
How safe are the Ghanaian people?
We are very safe, and I want every Ghanaian to feel safe.
Hot Issues shows on Sundays at 1 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news. It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in the Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes...
Welcome back. This is the key point here on TV3. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, on the Voice of London Radio in the heart of the City of London, and Voice of London Television as well. Nene Azu sends us a message regarding some of the issues you have to respond to, but this was directed at you, Kofi Tonto. It says, if you describe this security service recruitment as Ponzi scheme, what exactly do you mean? Yes, Ms. Kwachofosu.
Okay. So let me say that this is a matter that government takes seriously. Let me disclose that the president also takes it very seriously. So he has in fact summoned the interior minister to a meeting first on his return from South Korea to discuss this particular matter.
Wow.
Let me stress also that in terms of the monies paid, they are not paid for purposes of making profits for the organizations. It's a long-standing arrangement, as Kofi himself admitted. Mm-hmm. It's not like a new introduction. It is just that in recent times, because of the increase in numbers, it has also placed a certain financial burden on the institution in terms of management of the process. So the monies are meant to manage the process. Mm-hmm. Because if you are dealing with 340,000 people, in the past you could do it manually if you had about 1,000 or 1,500 people. Yeah. But now it has to be automated. Somebody has to provide that service. Mm-hmm. It's not something that government owns.
True.
I know that in the recent engagements made, the Interior Ministry has made agreements to own the system now, so that they can deploy it as and when it's necessary. Mm-hmm. If you are going for medicals, the medical items that are bought and all that have to be paid for. And these already are institutions that are hard-pressed for finances. They are stretched. Mm-hmm. So some arrangement has been put in place to finance the process. But I am full of empathy for those who have been unsuccessful. Regrettably, because of the limited numbers, there was always going to be a situation where significant numbers of people would be disappointed. The disappointment is natural, especially in an environment where unemployment is high. The Ghana Social Service says that unemployment has dipped slightly. They say it's around 12.6 now. Just before we came to it was almost 14%. But it is still unacceptably high. Mm-hmm. And something urgent must be done about it. Some have questioned why, if you have only 5,000 slots, you don't limit applications. But you see, that would be unfair and unjust ab initio. It means that you will be cutting out others So the process where everybody is given the opportunity to justify their inclusion for me is the best. Because if it's okay, I have 5,000 slots, so I'm limiting applications to say 20,000. There's no guarantee that even all 20,000 will be able to meet your requirements. It is entirely possible that 20,000 may apply, none of them will meet your requirements, especially when it comes to medicals, because they are very strict. That one, there's no compromise. You understand the point I'm making? So if you open it up for every Ghanaian youth who is interested in serving his country, the security agencies to apply, I think it's the best. It is fairer, it is more just. It provides an even playing field for everybody to put in his lot and hope that they go through. And let me indicate that this is only the first in the series of recruitments that will happen.
I see.
So there will be opportunity further. I agree that maybe going forward, we should advertise the number of slots available, so that whilst you are applying, you are aware that there's a chance that you may not get because the openings are limited. That is a reform that I will support. So we can say that we've opened up the process, you can apply, but there are 5,000 slots. So you know from the start that there's a likelihood that you may not because of the numbers. Right. But the process is fair. There's no effort to discriminate against anybody along partisan or socio-cultural lines. It is important that the very best emerge from the process, because these are men and women who are going to serve in our security agencies. You need your very best in these agencies because of the sheer amount of stress and duress they come under. You need people who can withstand those pressures and serve the nation to the best of their ability. But beyond all of this is a larger issue of unemployment, because there are many who are motivated by just the opportunity to serve. You indicated that there are people who actually are already in some employment, but they feel that this avenue offers better opportunities, and so they will leave where they are currently to go in there. If they were more gainfully employed than what they would ever get serving the country in those capacities, they wouldn't do that. So it means that we have to take the issue of unemployment very seriously. That is why government is rolling out a number of programs. 1 million coders has been mentioned. It's a process that is ongoing. Indeed, very soon it will be rolled out en masse. A pilot has been done. Nearly 900 people were retained on it. It's proven very successful. So this year it is being expanded. I know, for instance, that in the Abrasebu Kwamakes constituency, for instance, the CIC at Abakrampa will be put in shape, and people will be given the opportunity to partake in this program. Already, some effort is going on to train those who will do the training for others. The 24-hour economy is very much on course. A secretariat has been set up to coordinate. You see, it's a multi-sectorial activity. It's not just one sector. So you can't say one ministry should handle. So you need a coordinating body. That is what the secretariat does. And it comes with incentives and other programs to enable all those who want to participate, both in the public and private sector. But it will be a largely private sector-driven activity, because that's where the bulk of economic activity takes place in this country. And indeed, very soon, the coordinator or the presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program, Mr. Guzitano, will give a public briefing on this to shed light. Government has a program to put 100,000 acres of palm plantation in place.
Okay.
Yes, and it is to boost palm production and boost economic activity. But in the process of doing so, hundreds of thousands of Ghanaian youths will be engaged. Indeed, my understanding is that for every acre, you need about 3 people to work on. So even if conservatively, you get 100,000 people involved in that activity, it's a significant dent in the unemployment sector. We have what we call the National Apprenticeship Program. And recently, in the past year, 10,000 youth have been enrolled. This year, we expect similar numbers. But it will be rolled out, scaled up to 100,000 a year, so that those who feel that they are not too enthused about white-collar jobs, but are more adept at using their hands and tools to create economic value, will also have opportunity to go there. Beyond directly engaging the youth, there's also what we call the Jumera, which essentially helps entrepreneurs to set up their own business so that they can employ their contemporaries who are unemployed. So a lot is happening to tackle employment. And then the private sector is also doing a lot. Indeed, the Ghana Salary Service indicates that hundreds of thousands of jobs have been created in the last few quarters. The situation also is that because of the improved economic environment and the ease with which businesses can now borrow, the chances are that they will expand their operations and scope and be able to take more. Even in the informal sector, because that's where the bulk of employment occurs. Once they have access to credit, the Women's Development Bank
Okay.
It's also something that government is rolling out to give women opportunity to access credit, to set up small businesses, and they can engage 1 or 2 people to help them. So
thank you.
The problem goes beyond just.
We did not advertise it.
Yeah, very quickly. Last night, a young lady sent me a message for you.
Okay.
He said, please, Kofi, my question to Honorable Felix. When will you issue a communique to institutions that have wrongfully terminated appointments, instructing them to reinstate the affected individual?
That instruction has already gone out.
Okay.
So,
well, she was...
Gentlemen, thank you.
She was
thank you. There's an issue. We got a
yes.
swell of messages regarding an issue we did not advertise, but it is important that we talk about. Okay, that's the fuel price, projected fuel price increases, almost 16% for petrol, about 17% for diesel. Thankfully, we have Dr. Patrick Ofori. It took quite some time to join us out of his busy schedule. We just had to reach him this morning. He is the CEO of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, a critical stakeholder in this whole architecture of pricing petrol products at the pumps. What has influenced this projection of almost 16 percentage point increase in the price of petrol from Monday, and then almost 17% for diesel? What's happening?
Good morning, viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us.
The reality is that I just have some numbers here that I will share. So normally, if you really appreciate how petroleum or those commodities are traded, you either take a position, what we term as maybe a spot position that you are looking at the day that you are concluding the transaction with the international oil company, that this is the price that I want to buy for today.
Right.
There are others who also take positions that says, well, the window average, using maybe a 2 weeks or a 1 week window average. So let me give you a typical instance. So if you pick a window average for the past week, PMS window average at the international prices has gone over 1,021.
I see. What's the PMS?
Okay, sorry. Petrol.
Yes.
Okay.
Petrol has moved, the average has moved from the previous windows, it was around 600 or so. That alone has gone to about 816 now, dollars per ton. And then you check AGU, what we refer to as the diesel, has increased significantly from around 700 and is currently 1,021 dollars per ton. And as you may have even indicated, you have indicated on your screen.
Yes, the crude oil price on the world.
January, how the crude oil price started.
Yeah.
In 2026.
2026 from $60.
That was $60.
Now
as at yesterday, it was 103. And unfortunately, we operate in a market that, or our sector, or anywhere in the world, there is not a single company, not even the BPs and the shares, that want to always take the risk of locking in those prices at any point in time. What we normally refer to as maybe the hedging or taking a position and knowing that. So you check from upstream, any oil field coming down, because of the risk involved, they all want to spread it.
I see.
So either you have even one field, and you have, like you in Ghana, for instance, you have ENI, Vitor, and these are all big, and then others on sharing the cost. In the same vein, they also use the financial institutions to finance most of these transactions.
I see. And is this projected increase primarily as a result of what is happening between Iran, the United States, and Israel on the other side?
Clearly, that is the major. That is a major cause, because you check all the vessels that are locked up within the Gulf region. Are there? Nobody is coming. Insurance has increased tremendously. Insurance cost has really increased. Even vessels coming to Ghana that traditionally they would have taken about $60,000 on insurance are now quoting around 1.7 million. 1.7 million. Yeah, going to Australia has gone over $60 million. Other insurance companies have even issued a fact. No, we are not insuring anything heading towards those potential areas.
Wow.
So clearly, that tension has impacted. And also, I've heard other people saying, why is it that we don't have a reserve, a storage, and other things? You don't have the capital to do that. And I will never recommend even any state entity to do that. Yes, I will not recommend that. So can you imagine Boss took a position and brought in a product that was even, when it got to 103, or even when it got to 98, he took that position, and within a matter of days, it has come down to 83 points. You've lost almost $10 per each transaction. And you also check in 2022, what actually nearly erased most of the BDCs was this position. When it started, there was all this panic, and then we were being forced to take a position. And yesterday, it was more or less a signal that we sent to our members somewhere last week that when any IOTC put pressure on you to take a position, you need to wait and see.
I see.
Because it could still come down, it could still go up. So
this 16% is actually a modest increase you are giving to us. It could have gone up.
Frankly speaking, this 16, 17%, in actual sense, you look at the numbers, it should have been about 38 for AGO, diesel.
Wow.
You look at the numbers, and this is as a result of...
So who's footing the difference?
So what we've done is, there were some of them who had already taken position on some parcels that were already in.
I see.
So they have averaged things out. And I need to use this to also commend the Minister of Energy and Minister of Finance. During the engagement around, I think one of the days was even as early as 6 a.m., we had the ministry. We need to do the spreadsheet for us to look at it.
If you round up for me quickly.
The numbers that we have here, you will see that BDC margins 0.
You are not.
Nobody, as collectively, the top BDCs, when we met the minister, we decided that for this window, everybody is putting on 0, with the exception of the port and the discharge charges and the storage charges, that and the rack charges, that those monies are not coming to us.
I see.
But it's going to other institutions that you need to pay them, those who run the storage facilities and other institutions like that.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate you really coming to give us some clarity as to why this almost 16% increase in petrol and about 17% increase in diesel. We would have to have this conversation again. Because next week he's coming because this is going to be, once fuel prices go up, it affects almost everything on the market. So, Doc, thank you for coming through quickly. We have a date.
So let me just explain what stock is there. The issue with the petroleum product, you may have them in stock, but because you have not closed, when you bring in the product, you are supposed to take a position on it.
Thank you.
Right. When we say take a position, you are supposed to agree the pricing terms. But normally, because of the situation that we find ourselves in, everybody try to do the wait and see, and then wait till the window average comes in. Because other than that, you may not be able to offload your product, because when the price goes down and somebody closes a deal that day, the rest of the Total and the shares will pick their product, and you still have yours.
Thank you.
You lose out.
Thank you very much. Dr. Patrick Ofori is CEO of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. And as I indicated, we didn't advertise. He had to quickly come in to explain, because a number of you have sent us messages to that effect. Prices of petrol, diesel goes up on Monday. And this is a modest increase of 16 to 17%. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do appreciate your company, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Alfred Okonse. Have a great weekend. The sports team is up next.
Love, drama, surprises. The biggest dating reality show is back. Perfect Match Extra Season 4 is launching 14th March 2026 at Studio B. New singles, new connections, and even bigger drama. Be part of the experience live. Audience must be seated by 8 p.m. sharp. Catch the launch live on TV3 and Adisa Plus. One night, one house, a brand new journey to find the perfect match.
Perfect Match Extra is sponsored by Enapa Foods. Heaven insecticide spray.
This Sunday on Hot Issues.
Responses like we saw in Tamale is testament that the commands that are resident there are not up to the task.
If you look at every city, we have certain minimum number of officers. I must admit, in the north, it's one of the biggest challenges that we are having. It's not only in Tamale.
18 private partners. Why do you think